The festival is nigh!
Let's go ahead and get started officially this time for game number 1 between Nexus and Strump. Here we go. Shaka, center square.
Center square, limb grave tree sentinel +0.
I will go for box needle. We'll keep it quick. Dung Eater is the center square, so elite capital center square. We will look at the rush squares, the favorite of Nexus. So we do have crackpots in that top row, as well as staves, 2 nice quick ones. I'm already seeing a lot of academy synergy on this board. We have 4 memory stones, 6 Liurnia bosses, 3 imbued keys, Topps key, and wet blades in that first row and row 2. So really strong academy board already.
A tone for turtle popes on there too.
Yeah, tone in row 4. So you might just sack crackpots and go straight for academy here, because we also have Godskin Noble too, which is a great play for academy, as well as Rykard after that. But also there are quite a bit of late squares on this board. We have Dung Eater, we have Valiant Gargs, we have Goldfree, Rykard, Ancestor Spirit, Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield, DTS. So seems like a very Liurnia and capital heavy board. We have 3 squares in capital, Dung Eater, Goldfree, Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield, as well as DTS right outside, as well as Rykard and Gargs on the board. Honestly, I don't know if I even go for crackpots on this one.
No, there's too much.
I think there's kind of too much in academy. Yeah.
It's something, I mean, Godskin Noble leading into Rykard, right? There you go. Yeah, just rush academy.
Yeah. Chat, I did just get a brand new prediction up, so you can go ahead and get the gamble in. I refunded all your points from the last one. And here we go. Thankfully, Strump is not behind.
I think this is actually a board where it could go both ways. There's not a lot of rush squares, right? I mean, you have 10 pots, but it's a different board in that it's more mid game, mid to late, versus like the late game stuff that the last board was with Morgott and Altus.
Strump also did not like his starting class, actually choosing to go for just resetting it here. Choosing the same starting class, but actually going Lands Between Run here. He might have either forgot a keepsake or chose crackpots, but I think preferring the Lands Between Run on this board, just, yeah, obviously there is crackpots on here, but Academy is so strong. Getting that Lands Between Run for Academy is going to be very important.
Agreed.
Also different starting classes here. Nexus starting with the Hand Axe. Strump starting with the Great Horn Hammer. Now I think he can get that thing online with the Lands Between Rune. I believe he'll need 15 strength with 2-handing and 10 dex, so he should have just enough to get it online. And we'll see. That is a very good weapon. And also that class has way more health. Oh my god, look at the difference in health between the two.
Mm-hmm. And many times that is like one of the deciding factors in a class, right? Is if it's not the weapon, it's the stats themselves.
Go gamble. The new Gamba's up. Go gamble. We need points on Strump. Gonna leave it up. I set it for 5 minutes. It'll stay up for another few minutes here, and then we'll get underway. And then it'll close. But yeah, I just think this academy, like, if this is a board where you talked about earlier, where like sometimes a player can run away with it. If one player does somehow take all of the academy synergy here, they will run away with it. Hopefully we see like a split of the squares. There's just so much in academy. Topps key, imbued keys, wet blades, Liurnia bosses, memory stones, atone your sins, right? Like those are damn near every academy square, like outside of like Renala, Red Wolf, and Icons, is on the board here.
The problem is that they're long squares.
Mm-hmm.
Kill 6 bosses is a long square. Return Thopps Academy key. Not exactly a long square. Tanner rushed that and beat me in a game, right? You can rush that. If you're the School of Bushy, you rush Thopps key. You rush Academy.
Yeah.
I mean, so, well, I think it's a long long square, it's really not a long square on this board because of the synergy you're going to build off of it with the imbued keys, of course, memory stones, VO kill Red Wolf, which all this we've already described. I mean, if I'm running to shin anything, it's Thop's key into collecting 6 staves, right? Build a little diagonal threat, but then now, I mean, I probably go Sacred Flask +6. And a Tone Turtle Pope. Like, those are the squares I think we'll see marked first. Maybe then 3 Wet Blades. It'll be interesting how you wrap Mount Gelmir into this. By Mount Gelmir, I mean Volcano Manor with Godskin and Reichert on the board. You'd like to see like a +9 Somber weapon on here to really get the most synergy out of that area. But with just those 2 alone, I think those are that's kind of bait. I mean, it's 2 squares. Go do it for a second Great Rune, sure, to get capital access for Tonga Eater and Godfrey. But how these players decide to attack those 2 squares, whoever decides to go after them, I'll be interested to see.
And we do see Strump deciding to check Kale here. So already quite a bit behind Nexus, as Nexus just goes straight to Gatefront, looking straight to get into Liurnia as fast as possible here. The Top's Key is one thing I do think the Top's Key is probably the best opening square on this board, especially because you can grab the imbued key and the wet blade along the way. If you really want to greed it, you can even grab grab the green staff. I always forget it. I think that's Lusat's. I always forget which one it is. Right after Top's Key, but granted, I don't know how much you can go for that type of greed.
Where's that stuff at? Is it the one behind? Yeah, it's the one
behind
that has
the page. Yeah, behind the big crystal in the page. So what you do is you go grab Top's Key, then you jump down to that kind of upper level of Raya Lucaria. It's above the first room in Raya Lucaria. You can't get up there. That's the only way to get up there, though. And then there is a page, and just past the page is a staff, and it is Azura's staff. Thank you so much, Arkham Knight.
Sure. Are you sure about that?
We do see Gargoyle's Black Blade from the Greatsword check. I mean, it's one of those weapons that is technically viable, but in practice, not really worth it. It's not an insane weapon, and it does have a very high faith requirement. If you get it online, it's totally fine. But for you either want a weapon that's solid with low stat recs or very good. Well, ideally, you want a weapon that's very good with low stat recs, but when you talk about usable weapons, it's either you want to have solid with low stat recs or very good but with higher stat recs. Unfortunately for Gargoyle's Blackblade, it is solid, but it also has very high recs, so not a weapon that you're very likely to see used here in this game. Granted, there is 30 faith, so it would combo with that if you do go that route. That being said, though, you typically need a weapon online to get to 30 faith. Since you can't cheese bosses, you kind of got to kill something for that square. And it's pretty hard to do that without kill a big boss to get a bunch of runes without a +4 Somber.
Last night, or it may have been the night before, I watched Nexus actually first try a Deathless Rando run, 80%, granted.
Mm-hmm.
He was using the Gargoyle Great Blade, and it had Shared Order as the Ash of War, right? Is that the native Ash of War on the Gargoyle Great Blade?
No. That's it. So there's 2 Gargoyle weapons. I think there's 2 Gargoyles weapons. So there's the Gargoyle's Greatsword, which is smithing. That comes with Vacuum Slice. That would have been what he was using. And then there's Gargoyle's Black Blade, which is the Somber equivalent. And it comes with, it's basically kind of a version of Vacuum Slice or Taker's Flame. It's similar to that, but no, it's just unfortunately not that strong.
Yeah.
For weapons with that high of stat rec, it's either I need to use it in a pinch for a square, Remembrance, right. With or you want something super strong like Helfen Steeple, right? And Gargoyle's Blackblade is just, or Rakshasas, right? Gargoyle's Blackblade is just not nearly in that caliber.
No, if I see Gargoyle in the name, typically I put it in the back burner. I'm not going to use it.
Gargoyle's Greatsword is a very usable weapon early on. Not necessarily a smithing weapon that you'd want to commit to in bingo. Typically, the best smithing weapons have some sort of like typically native bleed on them, or in the case of like Rotten Battlehammer Rot. We do see though a very good weapon from the Halberd check, Golden Halberd, a very good weapon, especially with 30 Faith on the board here.
Not only that, I think you can get away with using that to kill pretty much everything on this board. Goldfree might be a bit of a problem.
Goldfree should be. The only one that it might be a problem on is like it's not great for NPCs.
Dung Eater, yeah.
Yeah, because it has kind of the slashing and overhead halberd moveset. That is the one fight where you kind of want to have the poke halberd moveset. And Golden Halberd does not have that.
Okay. Both players roaming around Liurnia. Strump getting ready to go over. Well, by now, both of them have picked up Golden Halberd. Both of them are considering a 30 Faith as they're getting that weapon online. How they get it online will determine who gets to kill. Well, they're both going to go to EG, but getting that 30 Faith, that's going to be the toughest part.
I find it interesting here that Strump is not rushing this as hard. I mean, he normally is a player who's very aggressive early with the rush. Nexus, though, is by far is definitely the best early game player in the entire league. So I feel like we're kind of seeing Strump just going a bit slower with his progression here, right? Like knowing, hey, I need to get into Academy, right? I can't sack Academy, but realistically, I'm probably not winning top ski.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you have Embiid keys and you have Thopps key, right? I think if I'm Strump, I know Nexus loves crackpots. Now I know I'm also smart enough to realize that he sees that's not the ideal play. I still will probably wait until about 8 minutes and to see if he marks it. So it's like 8 to 8:30. He should have already marked that square if he's going to push that. And if he hasn't, that tells me he's also racing Academy. Like you should think that out the gate, I guess, but also it confirms it. So we might see Strump pick up pace a little bit now.
We do see Strump do the axe check there. It's definitely twin axes, which are not a great weapon, but they do have that lightning damage. So you can use them on the Abductor Virgins to get into Altus here. Especially with 30 Faith on the board, that would be pretty easy to get online. Again, you're not going to rock that weapon for the entire game, but you could rock it just to kill the Abductor Virgins. Also, Ratty, thank you so much for the raid, dude. I really appreciate it. Welcome in, everyone. If you're wondering why the game is just underway, Strump had some serious stream issues, so we had to go ahead and reset the match. So you didn't miss much. We are 10 minutes into game number 1 here. Very, very strong Academy board. And we see Nexus going hard into Academy. Strump is following, but also doing a few more checks along the way.
Nexus being in Academy earlier, I wonder, I mean, well, none of them's going to immediately push Godskin, but you have the Golden Halberd, get the Summer +6 down there while you're while you're here in Academy.
Yeah, that is an option. Like the only thing that concerns me here is Nexus. Like, look how small his HP bar is. He has nothing. He's gonna need a very, very good Red Wolf fight. If it's a fast death, he's far enough ahead of Strump. But if it is a slow death, Strump very well could catch him here. Yeah, so Nexus will easily be the first to Red Wolf. Strump is also going for the Academy skip, but messes it up here. So he will go inside and grab the Sombra 3, but we're going to go ahead full screen with Nexus here as he goes to fight the Red Wolf of Radagon.
Yeah, and as Ray said, Nexus is one of those players that does train tech on each boss, so let's see how he plays this.
I need to play extremely careful here.
Well done. I really like that rotating. I typically dodge the same way, like it going to that left side. But you can walk it, and that's nice. Like it.
Whoa!
Whoa, that was weird.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah. This is where he needs to be careful when the glint blades come out, especially double glint blades. Very nicely done, though.
As long as it's not the glint blade into the lunge, you know, you're okay. Glint blade into the lunge is probably one of the harder ones to time if you're dodging both the
One
glint
more
blade
hit should
and the
do
lunge.
it here for Nexus. He gets a great attack. And
GG's.
very, very nicely done by Nexus there. Hitless fight, and he absolutely needed it.
Now, the thing about this right here is it doesn't tell Strump anything. Strump has no idea what Nexus just did. He's gonna pick up this glint blade, and he's still not gonna know what Nexus is doing.
The only thing Strump does know is that crackpots have not been marked yet. So Nexus did not go crackpots. That means he very likely did rush Academy, and Strump very likely is behind. His pace just isn't fast enough to match Nexus if he's rushing this. We'll see a round table check from Strump here. We do see Dragon Hunter's Great Katana at round table. Very, very strong weapon. Nexus here killing this marionette archer. You have to kill him, otherwise he will shoot you off the ladder. Nexus gets the kill.
Again, for the people in the back, you have to kill the archer marionette. Otherwise, he will shoot you off this ladder. I don't care how fast you are. In a bingo match, it's not worth like saying, oh, I can just knock him out and then run up there.
Yeah.
Kill him.
Strump also does decide to use the stone club here for Red Wolf. We'll go full screen with him.
Where did he pull out the stone club?
It was at round table.
Oh.
Stone club is essentially just an upgraded version of the standard club on Wretch. It's the exact same, just a little higher base damage.
It should do more poise damage. I don't think it does, but it should.
It's the same poise damage, yeah. Very nice stagger there by Strump.
And he gets the ever-lucent riposte.
Yep, Nexus is expecting it, or Strump is expecting a top ski mark from Nexus very soon here.
We're gonna be too late to atone because he's prepping atone as well. Not even close.
It's an ever-lucent. I mean, ever-elusive riposte. Ever-lucent is like always shining.
Oh, nice stagger there from Strump.
2 staggers on
Wait,
Red Wolf. I
least.
mean, that just tells you how slow the fight was.
What do I
but
want to do
still,
about this road too?
not to say it was slow, but like your weapon.
I think Strump is going to go for a tone here. That's a smart play.
It is. I
Yeah.
still think you can run up the bridge and you take the teleporter.
Yep, there's the top ski mark for Nexus. Strump will see that right about now. And he continues to run towards top ski, or run towards Atone for your sins.
Now, had Nexus picked up the atone and you just strike Topes a little, I mean, you can hit the merchant, but if he didn't kill Topes already for the staff.
Hey guys, we need a pause. We need a pause.
I need a pause. I fucking dislocated my knuckle mid-run to Red Wolf. I need like 2 minutes, dude. I can barely hold my controller. 2 minutes, dude. I can barely hold my controller.
Okay.
Hold up.
Fair enough.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, my hand hurts so fucking bad right now, dude.
All right, take care of yourself.
It popped out of the socket.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad to jump.
Okay, yeah, take care of yourself, Nexus. When we do restart this one, I'm gonna leave you guys in the call for the restart just to make sure the board runs okay.
Wait, we're restarting the game again?
No. I mean, like for the like when we unpause. I don't like just to not have a repeat of what happened last game. Nexus dislocated his finger somehow. So
yeah, my knuckle popped out of its socket. I had to put it back in mid-run to fucking Academy key, and dude, it hurts to jump and run, like dodge.
Which, what? I mean, I
don't
get
know,
it.
dude.
God bless.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sorry,
just
homie.
take a second, Nexus.
Yeah.
No, I'm dipping it in my ice water to numb it, and it's helping a little bit. Fuck.
Here, you can pass the sticks over here next if you need me to take over.
God, it hurts so.
You know, I've had a similar situation. Goalkeeper in soccer, that's my position. One-on-one, charging the player in the 1v1 as I slid. This is I was playing on a turf field. My glove actually got like caught in the turf as I was sliding out, and it just ripped my arm backwards and totally tore all of my muscles in my shoulder.
Ow. Yeah, I have like a tick with my left hand where it fully tenses up, and I guess
Yeah.
I moved my middle finger wrong while doing that, and it just completely popped out of the socket.
Oh.
I've had my kneecap dislocated too by a cleat. That wasn't fun.
That sucks, dude.
Look.
I've never broken a bone, not for lack of trying,
Yeah, neither have I. Oh my God,
but
it hurts.
like dislocations, yeah, I've had those.
I'm happy I have this ice water right next to me.
This is a world's first in bingo. Finger dislocation pause.
What's competitive?
Yeah.
Yep. Nexus, show us the hole, the fist-sized hole on your desk right now with that camera.
What hole?
He's joking. Shaka here. Let's just let him focus because
Yeah.
It's mid game, so it's a big game.
Sure.
Ow.
Yes, if you're jumping in, we are on a quick pause. We had an injury on the field, and we are currently taking care of that.
Yeah, Nexus dislocated his finger. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. The full like knuckle popped out, dude. Oh my God.
Don't worry, we'll have Aaron Andrews do the injury report here in a few minutes.
Okay. I mean, it still hurts. It's swelling, but I mean, I can try and play.
All right.
Is there blood?
No, because that's not.
All right. Wait. Okay.
Focus up.
All right.
Let's
Let's
go.
be serious here. Nexus, you're good to go.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna unpause the match. Please, both of
Okay.
you confirm that you see the timer start moving, and then I'll
Yep.
move you down.
Okay. Do we go in as soon as you?
As soon as you see the time, okay. So I'll just count it out. I'll say I'm gonna unpause in 3, 2, 1. If the timer doesn't start moving for you, please say something immediately. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then once I get him back down, Shaka, we can resume match commentary.
Sounds
All right.
good.
All right. I will unpause the game in 3, 2, and 1.
Good. Going.
All good.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay. Both the players are back in, and we are good to go. All right. So, crazy one there.
Talk
Yeah.
about a knuckleball.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I never heard of that one. I'm very happy. I decided to go check in on Nexus and see why he was paused. Because I was never seen that one. But I was like, I thought he was just thinking at first, and then I was like, wait, I gotta check on him. And yeah, apparently finger dislocation, which is why he couldn't come in and tell us, because he dislocated his finger and probably did not want to move his hand because it hurt like hell.
There. Okay,
All right,
so picking up where we left off.
Yeah,
the
so
Thop's key
Nexus
was
got
just
Strump
marked.
on Top's key, but Strump is going to get Nexus back here on Turtle Pope.
Which, I mean, I get a tone is a quick square. You already have Red Wolf dead. You have access to that teleporter to get yourself over there to the church. But memory stones. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at memory stones and staves. You can kill Topes right there, get the stave, and then start pushing memory stones and staves. And then if you want to, I don't know, someone once said 2 squares on the same line is always bigger than 2 squares not on the same line as an opening play, meaning like you're building that threat immediately, whether you pursue it or not. It's just the fact that you're making your opponent think about those threats. And I think that memory stones and 6 staves is a big play here because it builds that diag threat. You know, you don't have to worry about losing or like going after imbued keys or a tone. I just think that wet blades, staves, and memory stones are probably the better play coming from Red Wolf.
Yeah, we see Nexus sees the Atone mark and immediately pivots back to Gatefront. Might see
For the wet blade.
Yeah, just gonna go grab the whetstone knife here while he tries to figure out what to do. Strump is gonna push towards EG here. One big advantage that Strump has so far is that when he was a lot slower getting to Red Wolf, and he did find Dragon Hunter's Great Katana at Round Table. Nexus still has yet to check Round Table.
This is true.
Yeah, the road 2 for Strump is concerning, right? You can't give up all of that, but you don't want to lose memory stones as well.
No,
Especially that, honestly, the row, the column 2 looks like very annoying to block. Yeah, it just feels very annoying to block. So getting memory stones and just making sure you have a block on that column. It's one of those lines that it's like, I don't think it's not typically lines that you're trying to rush and push, like feed into each other really well. This is not one of those lines, but it's one that it's like, if you have to find a block, it can be quite annoying. So you don't want to let it sit. There's like different types of lines. To me, this one, that column 2 just seems more like a pressure line, as in like I pressure this, not like I really expect to finish it and win by bingo via that line.
No, when you say column 2, are you meaning row 2, or are you actually thinking
column 2? I'm just saying, like,
okay,
outside, like, memory stones is, especially with the academy play, is good to get, right? But then outside of that, like, all the other squares on that line, with the exception of, I guess, DTS, are annoying to block. But like, even with DTS, right, if you feel like you need to get DTS, then that means you need to be the first one to Altus. That can really mess with your game plan, right?
Yep.
It's not that it's realistic as like I expect someone to win the game by bingo, but it's just the pressure, right?
Yeah. I mean, memory stone, sacred flask, Godfrey and DTS obviously lead into each other, but then you're having to do remembrance, right? So then you're thinking remembrance weapon. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Column 2 might be a good like pressure line to push someone to make them think you're doing. But if I'm the opponent and I see you doing that, I'm gonna like say, "Oh, I have enough time. I don't think you're really doing that." I'd probably call the bluff, and then you would win by actually doing the line.
Yeah.
We're fighting Morgot here with Nexus.
By the way, Shago was talking, but Nexus apologizes in advance if he says "ow" at all.
Not doing the strafe was 7 fucking big, dude. You got me fucked up. Oh, that's gonna hit me.
I went back recently and watched one of my first times ever fighting Margit, and I also recommend like anybody out there, like go back and watch some of the first times you've ever fought bosses. It will not only just like confirm your confidence, but the progression that each player in their own journey makes is so rewarding.
Do something, buddy. I'm not doing the strafe here. There's no way. This one. Asshole, dude. Yeah, 0% chance I do this on this. Yeah, there's no way, bro.
Very nice kill by Nexus there.
Very nice.
Yep.
You notice how me and you have kind of I don't know if it's just we're tired or it's just it's been a long Tuesday. Yeah. But we're quiet during fights, and I'm not sure if it's because subconsciously we don't want to say anything that might be a commentator's curse.
Well, I think that's a little about it. Also, like, I was talking with, I do understand people have concerns about Nexus, and just to be like very clear, the players know I've talked to them, right? Like obviously we did have to forfeit Nexus in the final regular season game, but I did make it very clear to them, like coming into this, like, hey, like you guys deserve to be here. I'm not gonna call a playoff game due to a forfeiture for any reason, unless it's like literally impossible to play it within like months. So trust me, Nexus knows, like if he did not feel like he could continue to play, he can say that, and we would call it for the day and reschedule. But yeah, just to be very clear, I mean, I've never heard this from Nexus. My guess is that, you know, due to how casual he was about it, this might be something that has clearly happened before. Very unfortunate.
Storm Hell
yeah.
is being Storm Hell.
Oh, how does Nexus survives on like literally 1 HP in Stormvale? Yep. Very lucky.
There's a reason why I call this place Storm Hell. Like these two staircases specifically.
Yeah, we saw Nexus or we saw Rambler die in the same spot there earlier today. Nexus is a lucky boy there, but Strump, despite losing the initial race to top ski, is positioning himself well. I also like this play from Nexus, looking to push Wet Blades. That will give him a block on the column 5 or row 2 or column 5. Yes. Also promote his row 2. Additionally, both players did not start with crackpots, so the two crackpots in Stormvale will be very important for that square. That'll give Nexus a block on that row 1 as well. Shura won the match earlier today, so Shura will advance to the semifinals, and he will be playing the winner of this game.
Now, with that crackpot square, right? If you don't start with the 3 keepsake, you grab the 2 here in Storm Hell, and then you also have 1 at the Merchant and Saints Bridge. So those are the alternative 3 you grab if you're doing 10 crackpots, along with the regular 7 that you grab.
You could also there is one that's a lot less common, but actually right past Red Wolf, there's one that you can get, and there is 3 Wet Blades there for Nexus.
By the seed, the golden seed that's up there, the tree.
It's actually it's basically like right above the Grace. In the Red Wolf Arena. So like, if you know the staircase that you take to go to Cop's Key, you run the opposite direction up a staircase behind you, and that will take you to the crackpot there.
All right, Nexus now finishes Wet Blades here. So he has 2 squares on a very quick, one of the quicker bingo lines from this board. Strump, you might see a push for Sacred Flask +6 to go ahead and ensure his integrity of his second, the column 2, but also block that row 2 as well. So if he does that now, good. If he doesn't, he's not thinking about row 2 or column 2, but he'll find a block.
Yeah.
Imbued keys. Like, I think you gotta go try and beat him Sacred Flask +6. You can get 3 of them down in Weeping, which I think he might be headed in that direction.
Yeah, it looks like he might be just setting up Fort Height and then Weeping after this. Nexus here is gonna go ahead and go for crackpots, putting a lot of pressure on the Imbued Keys square. If Nexus claims crackpots, that Imbued Keys square will become very pivotal. If Nexus were to get it, that would give him 2 very strong early threats on row 2 and column 2 or column 3. Meanwhile, for Strump, obviously that'd be a very nice block of those 2 threats for Nexus. And Strump is fighting the Pumpkinhead here.
No, I get it for the Grace, right? Like, because this Grace is
I think he's just going for the Grace here.
It's a great Grace to grab for Fort Height and to get down to Weeping. I hate that it's behind Pumpkinhead, but I'm glad that it's Pumpkinhead. Right, very easy. But I completely understand the value in getting that Grace right there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with it too.
He also grabs a gold pickled Foulfoot there.
Ooh, thinking 30 Faith here.
Yep, maybe for 30 Faith or just runes for later, right? You pop that after Rykard, that's a ton of money.
Well, you could do a very nasty diagonal play.
Yeah,
Top
and
left,
Strump
bottom
is
right.
Strump is going to go ahead and get the staff here.
When he loses 10 cracked pots here in a little bit, it's going to crush any row one. I don't think he's thinking row one, but
Yeah, I think he might be surprised to see crackpots go this early. Typically, if both players don't start with crackpots, it tends to sit for a bit. Maybe like there have been some other playoff games where it goes to the very end. I wouldn't expect it to go that long, but it tends to sit, maybe until about like the 45-minute mark. So a bit early for crackpots here. It makes sense though for Nexus, just continuing to claim his priority on Stormveil, especially because like after Wet Blaze just going straight to crackpots, like Strump could be right behind him. They were on the same wavelength earlier today with the Academy
has
play.
really good. It has really good Jarberg routing. Let's glaze Stocko a little bit. Stocko actually has some really good Jarberg routing. I know it's minimal, right, in the grand scheme of bingo, but working hard on the routing. I watching his last game, the way he fell down to Jarberg, it was very fluid. So, all right, enough Stocko glaze.
Yeah, I do think Weeping's an interesting call this early. There is good value with it because you can get a staff down here.
Yep.
Really helps you with the Sacred Flask +6. Also Crimson Cerulean Viridian down here and Physic Tears. It's just like Weeping is one of the hardest things to call in bingo, honestly. We talked about it last game where it's like, it's the only region that progresses you towards literally no other region, right? Everything else either directly or indirectly progresses you towards somewhere else.
Capital skip with the Lendale Sleeping Giant. All right, it gets you to capital.
Yeah, the illegal capital skip. Yep. But yeah, it's obviously it's always a very tough thing to call. Strump here seems to be calling that he does value Weeping. And I do honestly expect this to be one of the stories of the match. Either this pays off really well or it is a mistake. It's really on the line here, whether or not Weeping's worth it at this point. Strump obviously thinks that it is, and we'll see if he's right.
Is he too far behind on Imbued? Because I know that did Nexus grab the first Imbued key while grabbing Topes? I imagine he did.
I imagine he did.
There's not a world where you don't grab it. But like, is he too far behind? Because I would have liked to have seen an Imbued Sword Keys to follow up Memory Stones or a Tone. Just go ahead and take that row 2 threat and column 3 threat away.
Well, I think Strump is really valuing Sacred Flask +6 and Staves.
I think
it's possible. I think the line for Strump might be like Sacred Flask +6 into Staves, and then you finish up your Staves in Caelid and go straight for Exikes to get the middle column block. That might be the line of play here for Strump. That would be my guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to decide if Strump, because Strump does like to play. He picks a line and kind of like builds towards that line. If he wins off bingo, great. If he doesn't, he'll just try to go majority. But I'm trying to decide which line he's actually trying to go for. And for some reason, I think he's thinking top left to bottom right because of the Carillion Crimson Viridian down there weeping, the Sacred plus Flask and weeping, Killsawed. How do you hide that? You hide it with Sacred Flask +6 Staves into your plan of doing Ezikes. I think is a good call.
Yeah. And we see both of them going for Selly at the exact same time. I think Nexus is thinking more Sword Keys. Strump probably thinking more towards Staves. Maybe even +6 with the Church of the Plague. Altus, that sort of thing.
We've crossed the 30-minute mark here. So I'm expecting Square Pace to pick up here, and a lot of like the players unveiling their hands essentially to us, like what they've been thinking this whole time.
I mean, I think the pace has been strong so far. Obviously, like in terms of total number of squares on the board, 5 squares at 30 minutes isn't like the most insane amount. But if you consider the fact that they both went into Academy, right, and it is a later game board in general, I think Square Pace has been good. But I agree, stuff is going to start flying off the board here, especially once both of them get their weapons set up and get into Altus. That is my one concern for Nexus here. Strump is definitely ahead on a little ahead on Altus, and also he has his Dragon Hunters online, while Nexus does not.
I was gonna say Nexus did pick up Dragon Hunters at Roundtable,
Mm-hmm.
and here he is. He's getting the stats right now to wield it, and he was 7 Vig is what he had, so he finally
Yeah.
upgraded some bigger. But yep,
Very, very tough here, or like very stat wise, like a tough spot for Nexus. But I think he needs Source Seal, and that will alleviate a lot of his problems here.
the ever growing problem of, do I level Vigor or do I just send it?
Yeah, and we do see Strump, kind of as I anticipated, ignoring the imbued keys and just going straight to Dectus, or straight to Dectus Medallion at Fort Faroth. Meanwhile, Nexus here grabbing the staff, gonna go grab the imbued key as well. I'm curious if he goes for Celia Skip or just lights the brazier. Normally Nexus, like obviously he would always go for Celia Skip. I wonder if he's thinking about his finger at all and wants to avoid like precise inputs. But no, just decides I'll do Celia Skip.
Yeah. I mean, he might be so used to Celia Skip now that it's not so.
I don't know. I've never had to worry about an injury in the middle of a bingo game, so I'm not really sure. This is new territory for pretty much everyone involved.
Honestly, we should probably have crisis counselors in the Discord after this.
Well, that was a beautiful Celia Skip. Doesn't seem to be impacting him at all.
Yeah. Strump is getting ready to enter Fort Faroth. Did he did grab the Sacred Flask. There's no reason you don't there at Millicent. So.
Nope. Yeah, no
now,
reason
with
to
Nexus not grabbing, if Nexus doesn't grab it, he's not thinking that, but he is going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sacred Flask +6 is always a tricky one because you never know when it's going to come in between the minutes of minute 20 and minute 45.
Yeah.
Like it can come in at any moment during that time. It's a square I like because even if I only have 3, 4, 5 health flask, if I have a +6 Sacred Flask, like that's enough. It's gonna full my health. It's gonna give me full health with just one flask.
So Strump actually going back to Celia, grabbing the Staff of Loss, and he's gonna go get the imbued key, but this will be a snipe. Nexus is just running towards the 4 belfries to claim his final imbued key, and he will take a 4-2 lead in this game. Early on, but again, Strump in a bit better position in terms of map, slightly better in terms of map progression, but especially in terms of weapon. Additionally, it looks like Strump is just going to light that brazier to set up the imbued key, but forego it for now, and he will be going for Meteorite Staff. That will be his 6th staff, so actually this is going to be a 4-3 game. Yeah, because both players will be marking at pretty much the exact same time.
Loss mentioned, by the way. This will be the staff here. That's 6 staves, and I think that's a great block by Strump, personally.
Yep.
There's imbued sword keys.
And there's staves.
Yep.
Strump should go grab this Grace to set up Exegs for later. You know, how he could go there now if he really wants to. Depending on his starting faith, he actually could just go Exeg straight into 30 faith if he really wants it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he does go back to Fort Faroth, going to grab the Source Seal here. I think that's smart. Source Seal might be just enough for him to survive one hit from Exegs if something does go awry. As he currently stands, I don't think he would survive a shot. Also, you get that gold rune 12, an extra 7.5 thousand to help you with either 30 faith or just leveling in general.
Strump never went into Fort Faroth earlier.
Yeah, he grabbed the Grace and then pivoted.
I get it, but One of my questions, I mean, if you ever come here to Fort Ferrith and you're grabbing the Nexus lift, right? Like, if you don't need Source Seal, you don't have to go get it. But like, I don't know. I'm always like debating on do I go get it? It's always worth the extra health. I don't know. I'm a Source Seal fan. It's just the time to go get it, even though it's like another 10 seconds. It just feels like ages to go get the gold rune and the Source Seal down here because you have to quit out. Right.
Well, you also get extra damage. You also get extra damage, right? Like especially on Dragon Hunter's scales with faith, with strength and dex, right? So you do, even though you don't really notice it, like that little scaling is just a little bit of damage, right? But over the course of the match, you will make up time.
Look, someone once told me Source Seal, bad seal. Okay. All right.
That person may have been wrong. Who told you that?
You did.
When?
Source Seal, bad seal.
No. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
You did. You're like, dude,
all
you have so much help. You don't need it.
Whatever you say, Shaka. Whatever you say. Actually, this is interesting. Nexus going straight for fisting Rick.
Yeah. I've actually kind of become a proponent of like once you get 30 whatever between strength and dex, just go do it. It's not that long.
Mm-hmm. And Strump, you're going straight for Exikes.
No, I'm wondering if I think he's doing that just to get a block on row 4.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason why Nexus is doing it.
We will go full screen with Strump here for Exikes.
Motherfucker.
Oh, Strump, buddy.
Oh my god, I might be dead.
I think Exikes is just misunderstood.
That's an early ass transition, dude.
Yeah, Strump doesn't nearly dodge that phase transition there.
It was the one before that where he dodged the head turnaround snap. That he dodged by like the head was coming from behind him and he still dodged forward and like it was just a great dodge. I was real impressed by it.
Oh, he needs to be really careful here.
Guy's such a staller.
Nexus is just fisting Rick here.
Which I think Strump will be surprised to see the Rick go. I think Strump may have considered doing that square after he finished Exikes. Having a little trouble figuring out where to target.
There we go.
Ash of War. Nice bleed.
Yeah, big bleed there. One more hit, and Strump does get Exikes down.
Beautifully done.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nexus said he knew it. He called the Exikes.
He did.
There's no way he doesn't go X-Ikes there, right? Like, he has Dragon Hunters, just like me. And he did Stave, so he's a little bit closer than I am.
Yeah, Nexus did say the way he was reading Strump's movements was since he did 6 staves, he felt like he was in weeping.
Rick.
And so that means that he's probably doing Exikes next.
Cool.
And so
Yeah,
that's why he wasn't
Strump
surprised
seems
by it.
cool with that, but that was a great call by Nexus to just go ahead and get that block.
Yeah.
That was a great read.
Yeah, because now look at that row 4.
Yeah,
Or sorry,
that row
column
4 is
four.
blocked, and the column 4 for Nexus is potentially pretty strong here.
It's 5-4. We have a game here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be like this. This is how I expected the set to go, realistically. Whether it's 2 games, 3 games, whatever. Like I would have been shocked if either player dominated. This
It's
was
a slow burn.
Yeah, like unless one of these players was just nervous because of playoffs or whatever. I always expected this to be a very close set. Like these 2 players are just too good. Yeah, like both of them are on like big win streak or on like incredible players.
Yeah.
Strump lost to Helios week 1 in a 13-12 game. That's his only loss of both the qualifiers and the regular season. Nexus auto qualified because of his placement in Rookie Rumble. And his only loss that he played is to Nartok. He did get the loss to Ellie because his PC was not working, and we gave him a week, and we just had to move on with playoffs.
Yep.
But yeah, like 5-4 game. Strump is ahead on weapon. Nexus is making up that difference now.
Where is Strump going, dude?
Strump is going for Godskin Noble.
Yep. I think it's a good play. Get Godskin Noble. Go ahead and get Rykard. I mean, at this point, that's more of a majority type play. I think he should finish up Sacred Flask +6. He has 3. Yeah. 4 if he went to Third Church America. 5 if he hit Millicent. So
he's at +5
more.
right now.
Yeah, I just read it. They're under his, like, dude, go grab the last one.
I mean, it's aggressive by Strump because if Nexus were to somehow snipe Sacred Flask +6, right, that would put Strump in a world of hurt with that row 2. But that being said, Nexus is probably expecting Strump to finish Sacred Flask +6 right now. So he probably will not go for it. And Strump is kind of doing the unexpected, going straight for Noble. And actually, it seems like Nexus might be doing the exact same play with Strump just straight up ahead. So really good read here by Strump to go for Godskin Noble rather than Sacred Flask +6. Like I honestly, like, both these players are so good in all aspects of the game. I think a lot of it is going to come down to these little calls, right? Like, get like just the battle of the minds, guessing what your opponent's going to be doing and playing off that and making the right read. We saw Nexus make a great read just earlier with Rick, and now a great read by Strump going for Noble.
What's also going to be bad, I mean, depending on when Strump marks the square, we'll see where Nexus is at, and hopefully he's not in a fight where he can't just, like, pivot out. But yeah,
We'll
depending on
go
how
full screen
fast
with
Strump does
here.
this.
This also, by killing Noble, you do get massive priority on Rykard.
Very true. I mean, not to mention, you can go ahead and grab your Somber Stones. Some are 6 and 7.
Or 5 and 6.
5 and 6 is what I said. I don't know what you heard.
My apologies, my ears must have failed me.
Yeah, I know that you're...
Strump is getting... Oh my god, Strump was in a world of trouble there. He still is.
Oh. Dodges the Noble Presence.
Oh no, Nexus missed the second part of cage skip and gets a frame perfect quit out, I believe.
I think that may have been frame perfect. That screen's lingering too long. Dude.
Nexus needs to alt F4.
Yep, he needs to alt F4.
Oh, okay,
he should
there it
recognize
goes.
that.
Yeah, that's a player-induced error, so unfortunately, you just have to play on. Nexus getting back into the game. But that's very unfortunate for Nexus with that frame perfect quit out.
To be honest, it may have
Even load
saved
back-
him from getting into the fight
Good, bro? Like, what the fuck is...
and like still
Alright,
being
he
here
is
in the fight.
back
Of
in the
course,
game. Yeah, so Nexus is gonna die here. Man, that frame perfect quit out is so unfortunate. We've seen it happen more than a few times this season. Very unfortunate, but it's a player-induced crash. Like if it was not player-induced, you know, we would obviously pause it, but that was induced by Nexus's actions there, and he also sees a mark on Godskin Noble. It looks like he's gonna go actually Abductor Virgins here.
Mm-hmm. That or he's just getting the grace so he can get out of here.
Yeah. And Strump here, it looks like he's going to go ahead and finish up Sacred Flask +6.
I like this play. This is a very strong play by Strump here. You lose Sacred Flask +6. You just lost Noble. Means you're not pushing Reichard. What do you do?
Yeah, also grabbing some Physic Tiers along the way for the 10 Physic Tier square in the bottom left-hand corner, as he just needs to run to Third Church to get his final Sacred Tier, and gets 3 Physic Tiers along the way. Gotta say, been really nice routing by Strump. I do think that call by him to go for Noble was huge. I mean, obviously Nexus did lose some extra time because of the quit out, but in all fairness, it did not matter that much because Nexus would have lost Noble anyways.
Now, if Strump hasn't been to Third Church yet, this will be his 6th and final Sacred Flask.
Yeah, and 6 Sacred Flasks, 6-5 lead for Strump. This is very aggressive by Nexus, going for the Abductor Virgins here. Does not have a ton of health, and also does have 1/2 of Dectus already. But just choosing to get into Altus the fastest way possible with Virgins.
I don't know how viable it is, but I think if I'm Nexus, I might be considering just pushing column 4. Like, I lost Sacred Flask +4. I have another game after this. I think if I'm going to win this game, I'm going to win off of column 4. Because the problem here, there's no Altus bosses. You don't have lightning. This is going to be a long fight. Not a lot of health. You can probably tank 1 hit.
Please stop.
But there's not, other than Altus Axis, there's not much.
Yeah, he does have decent damage here, though.
I agree. Sacred Flask without lightning bottles being viable is absolutely terrifying. Or it's just different. You know, beforehand it just
Abductor Virgins.
Yeah, Abductor Virgins, yeah.
Strump is finishing collecting Dectus here. So Nexus will actually be ahead on Altus here if he can finish Virgins, but not by much.
Oh, never mind, it did hit me. Cool.
Nexus gets the first one down. That's the hard part. And the second one down as well. So Altus lead for Nexus here. Okay. Very, very nice fight on the Abducted Virgins, but he will not be ahead by much. Strump had a grace at Bellum and is right on his heels for Altus.
I mean, I'm looking at Altus squares and I don't see much.
I don't know. I think the idea here is probably like just Altus progression, pick up Sacred Flask charges, and also make your way towards Draconic Tree Sentinel. Not only is that a square, but there is a lot of capital on this board, and that is a horse boss. Also, Strump runs into the Fire Chariot there and goes down. He doesn't die, but he falls off his horse and has to quit out. So a time loss there for Strump. Oh, and Strump does spawn back in and gets immediately killed.
Oh no.
So kind of bad to worse in terms of the time loss there for Strump. Additionally, he really needs to go get those runes. He had 50,000 on him.
And what he had as a stake, so he's in luck there. But I was like, which grace was the last grace he touched? Because if he didn't touch Bellum Church or he didn't touch the Bellum Highway, okay, I did not know there's a stake there. So
I didn't either. I had no idea.
Really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, this does buy Nexus a lot of time, though, to get ahead on Sacred Flask charges and make his way towards DTS. I do believe that's the idea, right? Because not only is DTS a square, we also have horse bosses and, you know, a decent amount of capital on this board. In one concept that I've talked about, if both players are going to do something, like if it's very obvious that both players are going to need to kill Margit in a game, or in this case, likely DTS, right? Be the one to get equity out of it, right? Be the one to get the square out of it. So push it a little early, right? Your opponent's going to have to do it anyways, but you're the one who gets the mark on the board. I like this a lot from Nexus. It was a very aggressive way of doing it, going for the Abductor Virgin straight into this, but it worked out for him. And granted, like that's the level of play that we're spoiled, but we've come to expect from Nexus, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that is going to be interesting looking at this match, right, at least in official games, Strump more proven in his end games than Nexus, right? Nexus tends to, a lot of players just cannot compete with his early game. Strump is one of those few players who can. So we don't get to see Nexus's end game execution very often. I think that will come into play here because the way this is, like, whether it's bingo, majority, whatever, like everything's still open, but regardless, it's going to be a tight end game.
Well, I think this is just a really good board for these two.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be very interested to see however this one turns out. I'll be very intrigued to see what the next board looks like and how they both play it. But in terms of like giving them a board where it's not immediate rush squares for Nexus, and who the heck knows how Strump actually like strategizes other than this board is great because it was all Liurnia and then it opened up to everything else.
Yeah. I also like the way Strump has approached this matchup.
Yeah.
It's a difficult spot, right? Nexus is so fast, right? Even though Strump is also incredibly fast, there are very few bingo players that could compete with Nexus's speed. Like, realistically, we're talking about Catalyst, we're talking about MPT. Like, that's how fast Nexus is when it comes to this bingo specific stuff, right? Strump, not just Strump playing like an aggressive countering style, right? Where he's like with that academy idea, right? He's gonna go ahead and get the synergy out of get synergy out of it, take a few steps, and be just a little bit behind Nexus, right? So he knows that he's ahead on these other things like the round table check for Dragon Hunters, but he's not far enough behind that he does not lose everything in academy. And we saw that here. You know, Nexus obviously got imbued keys, Top's key, in Wet Blades, but Nexus getting Atone, Memory Stones, and Noble effectively also being an Academy Square, right?
Yeah.
I really like how how Strump is playing this matchup, playing it beautifully.
Well, to the point of like taking equity, right? Like you see someone going for a play in Academy. It's like, well, what equity can I take away from them there? And that's what Strump did. He took away the equity, and then he made some surprising plays with Ezikes and Godskin Noble without sleep.
Nexus here going to have a clean run at DTS. Does not have a ton of health, and Strump is on his butt. Also, I think Strump, if Nexus does complete this, Strump will be surprised. I think he would have strongly expected to have an Altus lead. However, you know, Nexus with that aggressive Virgins play.
What?
Nexus goes for the mouse jump tech and doesn't get it. Now has to be very careful on
I fucking
1
early?
HP.
Or late, I mean? I don't know, dude. I can't time anything right now. My hand hurts too fucking bad.
Okay, cool. That's what I'd say. Strumpy, what's going on, buddy? Strump is about 1 second, but nothing, just minimal in terms of time.
Yeah. All right, Strump is entering the fight now too, but will not have the damage to make up for this. He will need mistakes and most likely a death from Nexus here to make up this difference.
Definitely a death, but and that's to be seen. What happens? So far, Yeah, this has been a very good match. No commentators curse today.
Strump is making up ground, but phase 2 on DTS takes a lot longer. They're just attacks that you have to run away from. Those lightning attacks, it makes it overall much slower.
Both of these players are just playing so well right now.
Nexus gets the stagger, and that should be the square for Nexus. One more hit, and DTS goes down, so Strump will get sniped, but he will have DTS down as well, so not getting the board equity.
Motherfucker.
But he should finish this
It
fight
was that stupid
out.
chariot.
Finish the fight.
The chariot really did cost Strump. He just said it, but that's very true. If Strump didn't die to that chariot, he very well could have gotten this square.
Chariot.
It's true.
Fuck, dude.
Language.
Fucking stupid ass flame chariot, man.
Yeah, Strump not happy with that flame chariot, and understandably so. What a close game. Like, and this is this is bingo at its best, man. Like, these two guys are both executing at an incredibly high level, playing a high level game. And like, this is what I love so much about the sport, right? It really does, like, when you start, it is a battle of execution, right? Like, when you first start playing bingo, like, if you can kill Margit and your opponent can't, like, you win. Right, and that's just kind of how it goes in knowledge checks and stuff. But as you get closer and closer to this high level, it turns into poker or chess, where you're trying to predict, you know, what your opponent's doing. And there we see punches and counter punches, right, from these guys. It's really beautiful to watch. That
DTS mark is huge.
Yeah, Nexus going seals, and now Strump feels the pressure with that column 4 and going horse bosses. So Nexus forcing Strump into a square that is decently slow. I think this exchange really does work out well for Nexus. Nexus able to get an easier square like seals. Will also block that column 1. Strump forced to go for a longer square and horse bosses to block the column 4.
Well, he also shouldn't be too far away from acquiring 10 sacred flash charges.
Neither of them should be.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you just go ahead and claim that too. You sacrifice that column 4 bingo because you're not going to push it. But go ahead and claim the center, the 5 boss. Well, the 5 bosses is a big square for Strump if he decides to go middle row pressure. But go ahead and getting the acquired 10 sacred flash charges would minimize any pressure on that line.
Mm-hmm. Nexus here is going to go kill the Tibia in Liurnia. This will give him a Liurnia boss and a death root that he can feed to Garank for the beast seal, the Garank seal.
The Liurnia boss is big because I'm like, well, why not just do Black Knife? It's quick. This is a tank, somewhat.
Yeah, it takes longer than the Limgrave one, but getting the Liurnia boss out of it, I think this makes perfect sense. Nexus needs to be careful to not die to the boatman, and he goes down.
Yeah, there's a stake here, though, I think.
Yeah, there is a stake, but
really?
Definitely a frustrating death.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be the game getting back at Nexus for the chariot death with Strump, right?
The great Bernie Bingo.
Mm-hmm. I almost said where in the world is Bernie Bingo, kind of like a play on of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, if you remember that old cartoon board game.
Okay, Boomer.
Yep. Knew that was coming.
Strump gets his 3rd horse boss down. Nexus is back with the boatman.
I don't know what Strump is fucking doing right now, dude. He's setting up a full bingo line again. I can smell it. Which is why after, if I
Is it slash damage? No, it's strike damage. Their weakest strike damage.
Strump here is destroying the Limgrave Tree Sentinel.
True.
I do think at the looks of this, it looks like it's going to go for majority. Go to majority.
It is.
Yeah.
Most definitely is. I mean, you'll get a block on row 1, column 1 somewhere from Nexus, but It's a majority game for sure.
Yeah,
We're already at the hour mark. Yeah, go ahead.
The only way I see this not going to majority is if Strump gets horse bosses and then flash charges right after. That middle row could be very threatening, right? Especially because Nexus might get a little too comfortable on his capital lead because of DTS, but horse bosses might indicate to Nexus that, hey, I sniped Strump on DTS and he went ahead and just finished horse bosses. And there is the horse bosses.
Fuck, dude. I actually just can't have that
you
on,
do
dude.
Get your Sacred 10 flask and then go kill Rykard. Go kill Rykard, get a square, and start working on getting capital access.
Yeah, and Strump is going for the charges. You know what? Actually, Strump's also ahead. Strump can go Rykard.
That's what I'm saying. I think you should do Rykard afterwards, like, because you're gonna need a great rune either way to get to Dung Eater and gold free. Get your
This is gonna be very
built up.
close on the flash charges.
I wish I could see how many blues he has. I know he has 5, and if he only has 1 blue, then he's at 6. Yeah, he's at 6.
Don't know how many blues Nexus has.
Nexus doesn't use blues, so he probably has all full 8 red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is going to be a very pivotal square, whoever gets it.
Well, the seed routing, right?
Yeah.
Shit, if you went to go kill Loretta as a horse boss, you could have grabbed the one up there.
True. All right, Nexus grabs that one. Is that enough? Nexus goes to main academy. Oh my god, I think they both literally need one more. I don't know the exact count. Oh, this is so close.
You have Strump running to the one that's inside Academy after Red Wolf, and you have Nexus running to the bridge one.
I think Nexus gets
immediately pivot back.
I think Strump is going to get aggroed, so he's going to have to quit out before he can warp. So I think this will go to Nexus.
Oh my god.
Nexus sits. 8, 9, 10.
Boom.
It's a clean mark from Nexus.
Yep.
And Strump gets sniped.
It's unreal.
Just sniped.
Alright. Well, Seal's time.
And now he's going Seals, which Nexus is ahead on. Yeah. The stream delay is not really noticeable. Strump is like a second or two behind, but it's not anything serious.
It's such a weird race, right? Because it's not a boss. And it's not like a pickup. It's like, no, both players have to sit down, and then it's all a matter of menuing.
Yeah,
how good are you at menuing?
Strump was the first one to act there, but the biggest advantage for Nexus was the fact that since Nexus came from the Abductor Virgins, he had the Golden Seed by Gillica already, while Strump had to go run and get it. So that was the difference that gave Nexus the square, because I believe they picked up the same Golden Seeds.
I think Nexus also had to run back to the Stormveil one too. Yeah,
Nexus did run back to the Stormveil one. Because Nexus did not get... Strump grabbed the one at Fort Height because he went Dectus. Yep. Nexus never went to Fort Height, so he had to grab the one at Stormveil instead. But otherwise, they grabbed the exact same Golden Seeds.
Which makes me think... I mean, you don't want to risk losing horse bosses. With how quick Flask is, I mean, because if I lose horse bosses, that's fine. I'll beat you on Ancestor Spirit. Maybe Strump does 10 Sacred Flask first?
And Nexus is going to get Seals here, and then I believe that shuts down the board, right? Unless I'm not missing anything. No. Okay, Nexus getting Seals here will shut down the board for Strump. Will Nexus have any bingos left? Nexus will have a bingo opportunity. on row 5, but that is it. And being honest, that row 5 is not super realistic at this point in the game, especially with Strump having that big Godskin Noble lead. Hell of a game, though, so far. Capital, I think, is going to really start to come into play here. 3 squares in Capital with Gold-free Dung Eater, Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield. In addition to that, we have 30 Faith on the board. We see Nexus here going straight for Renala. This will give him another Liurnia boss, and it might be enough for him to get 30 Faith. I think Strump is a higher level because Strump did level into his Dragon Hunters in terms of his physical stats more so than Nexus, and Strump has much more HP.
Another thing we have to consider is the 2 squares I'm most concerned about how we wrap them into our overall routing is 6 bosses Liurnia and 10 Physic Flask tiers, right? Because you can go kill 2 tree avatars for 10 Physic Flask. But I don't like that square in this late board game, or in the late game of this board.
Well, I think that is what Strump is going for. Strump does have an advantage on the tiers, and also he is currently ahead 3-2 on Liurnia bosses because he has killed 2 Knights Cabs and Red Wolf. Meanwhile, Nexus has killed Red Wolf and the Tibia. Renala will be his 3rd, but Strump here actually looking at Crimson Cerulean Viridian medallions. He can get the Crimson and Cerulean both in the Weeping Peninsula, the Crimson and the Viridian both in the Weeping Peninsula, and then he will kill the Bloodhound Knight here for both the Liurnia boss and the Cerulean Talisman.
You know, the one thing I would have liked to have seen out of this game is if you're going to give me a boss named Tibia, at least give me a boss named the Femur.
I mean, I've got to say, so far, this has been one of the best, just so close back and forth. One of the best games of the season so far. And what a hell of a way to start this set. I know there were some pauses. We had Strump internet issues and then Nexus finger issues, but it was well worth the wait.
I'm glad that this is the board these guys ended up playing for the first game.
Yeah. Strump gets the Bloodhound Knight down. That is his 4th Liurnia boss. We will go full screen with Nexus. Nexus does not need to wait for summons. He's just trying to kill her as fast as humanly possible.
Oh my god. What? He still spawns in? I staggered her out of it. Cheater.
Strump is actually going to go ahead and kill Altus Margit for the Viridian Talisman. Rather than going Weeping, we'll go back to the dual screen here.
I actually thought about that while we were talking earlier about when you mentioned capital squares. Like, well, Margit's not a capital square, but the Viridian Talisman you get out of killing him. And so I'm actually happy to see this this Viridian Talisman being picked up.
Cool.
Okay, Nexus finishes off Renala, and we have Strump working on Margit.
All right, there's 30 Faith for Nexus. I think that's going to be a big one going into this end game. That gives Nexus a 2-square lead.
What?
Oh my god, Strump goes down!
Oh no.
Oh my god.
The hand by the hilt is still a hitbox there, and it caught him.
Strump goes down, and now Nexus is pushing hard into the Liurnia bosses. If Nexus can get this would go bad to worse for Strump, because Nexus has Godric set up, he has DTS dead, he has Renala down. Liurnia bosses into Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield, Godfrey, and Dung Eater would be game over.
How do I miss with the longest fucking katana of all time?
But hey, don't count him out yet. Strump has been our dark horse this whole season.
This will be my 4th Liurnia.
Stagger on the Revenant is big. This is going to tie up for Liurnia bosses. Strump is going towards Renala now to try and claim his prio on Liurnia bosses. I think he may be behind because there's nothing but quick bosses left for Nexus to kill. He kills Cleanrot Knight Duo. Oh, whoa, he went to Godric.
Nexus going straight for Godric, favoring the capital access. I think that makes sense. Like, Liurnia bosses is only 1 square. There are 3 squares in capital. Really nice tech using the jump attack there. to dodge that attack, that initial attack from Godric while getting some initial damage. You can just see how much Nexus has practiced these fights just to get that little extra hit. You know, that those few seconds faster out of it.
Big bleed. Put him in the second phase. Let's go. Very quick fight. You have Strump entering Renala right now, being memed on a little bit by Moongrum. He really doesn't know his place, does he, that Moongrum?
Should be good right here.
I am the Lord of all
Ed.
that is golden, and one day we'll
Did I not get any Altus Graces?
to our home.
Fuck me, I don't think I did. Oh my god, did I forget?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be boss number 5. I wonder what Strump does for his 6th one. Yeah. A really quick one would be to go do Revenant as Nexus did, since you have the EG Grace. If you're good at that fight, don't get hit by those chandeliers, please. Phase 2 Renala now.
Oh, you're a little ahead of Ashaka. Let me go ahead and refresh. All right,
Yeah,
here we go. Strump in phase 2. Nexus is going capital.
Crazy how that bitch just dies when you don't need to do summons.
So that is Strump's 5th Liurnia boss. He will finish up Liurnia bosses, but Nexus here can claim 3 squares in the capital between Dung Eater, Goldfree, and Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield, and will only need one more square to finish out this game. We'll see what happens. Strump here going for... I think Nexus did say he did not get any graces near Ritual Sword. Strump is here going for the Erdtree avatar.
Well, I mean, if you have the Altus Plains Grace right after Nexus lit. No, he went Virgins. That's right.
Yeah.
Nice capital skip by Nexus.
Yeah, very nice skip. Strump here going for an avatar. This will be his final Liurnia boss and give him 2 more physic tiers.
Yeah, I'm wondering where he's
The
at.
stream
on
is
tiers.
buffering here. So I'm going to keep it on the dual screen just in case it cuts out. Yeah, this could be this could be very close to a double mark. Strump cannot be that far away. I don't think this will be enough, but he shouldn't be that far away from physic tiers. He also has weeping access for that Erdtree avatar down there.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he grabbed physic tiers, he's only grabbed strength, maybe faith down in weeping. I didn't see him grab anything.
Yeah, I think he did grab
his...
faith. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very tough place to be for Strump right now.
Yep.
Because once you get into double digits, right? Once Nexus hits 10, you really feel the noose tightening around your throat.
Yep. And Strump does get that down. That is Liurnia bosses for him. And he is going for Rykard now. I think Strump is going to be I think Strump is going to be pretty surprised when he sees either Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield, or Goldfree marked here.
Well, I mean, Strump has no he has to go get Rykard, right? That puts him at 10. But at the same time, once you see Ritual Shield, Goldfree marked, it's almost game over. And because I mean, he has capital access and he has enough access to the various squares to win.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because Strump played an immaculate game. Both players did this whole game.
The only thing is, it's kind of hard for Nexus to close. Like, the 3 capital squares, if he gets all 3 of them, still only puts Nexus at 12. It's a little hard to see how exactly what square he closes it out with, right? Strump has priority on Crimson, Cerulean, Viridian. Strump has priority on Rykard. Strump has priority on Physic Tiers. And then, you know, the 2 squares that are up in the air are Ancestor and Gargs. You know, for Nexus here, it's like, do you just go down the well in Shifra to try to get the Ancestor as fast as possible, or do you try to kill Radahn? Because that also would give you Garg's access as well as Ancestor Spirit.
I think you just go, you full send Ancestor Spirit. If you die, if you lose that square because of a snipe, like by any means, there's enough other squares on the board to find the win with.
I do a charge.
But it's the safest square in my mind as not being sniped on.
Yeah, the only thing is you don't know, like, maybe with this Rykard mark, you can guess that he did Renala and Rykard, but Strump might have already killed Radahn, right?
I mean, as soon as Nexus marks this, it's going to tell him he's in the capital, and he already has 2 Great Runes.
Yeah, I can do a tap R2 there.
I think Nexus might try to pivot here. Pivot back to one of the non-capital squares after killing gold free.
Well, the problem is the only non-capital squares, like you said, Strump has access, or like Prio on. Acquire Brilliant, Crimson, Viridian Talismans, Physic Tiers. Like, he has Prio on those, and he can get sniped on any of those, or on both of those, if Strump decides to pursue him.
There's gold free down for Nexus. We'll go full screen with Strump for Rykard.
Yep.
Strump, we'll see the mark here in just a bit. His stream is behind by about 30 seconds.
He saw it.
Okay.
He still needs to fight Rykard. Well, maybe maybe he hasn't. He didn't say anything.
Nexus is going for Ritual Sword and Shield.
Stop spamming that shit, dude.
Good play by Nexus. He almost went the wrong way. That's funny.
I gotta stop refreshing Strump stream. I might just have to deal with it being a bit. We might just
No
have to deal
spamming.
with it being a
Let's
bit
not do
behind.
that. Not nice.
Nexus is having trouble here getting Ritual Shield.
Singing your favorite song in chat right now. Gotta know.
Yeah, Shaka, if you can not refresh Strump's stream, I think we're just gonna have to deal with it being a bit behind, because every time I refresh it, it lags like hell for me.
I'm not gonna refresh. I haven't been, to be honest.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'm just gonna watch off our
Yeah, that's fair.
broadcast.
All right, Strump is in phase 2 in the middle of phase 2 on Rykard. Nexus is actually looking to contest Crimson, Cerulean, Viridian here.
He is.
Going for the Altus Margit that Strump died to earlier. Strump does have Rykard in the loop.
Now, this is going to be his first talisman towards that square. And both of them will be tied for talismans once Nexus finishes Margit.
Oh, Strump gets hit by a lava thing. Doesn't really matter.
It's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to get hit by one again. Actually, no, rules out of it.
Oh, no, the stomp still counted because it's the stomp that causes him to come.
Yeah, you can see, like, sometimes bingo players, and you can see Strump doing it now. Like, if you're doing a no-hit route, like if you saw what Crony did against Rykard yesterday, you don't greed as much for damage in between the stuns, in between the L2s. Bingo players, particularly if you have a lot of health, can tend to greed a little bit more. We see Strump there marking Rykard's.
Which means he's setting up capital, because that means he has, I think, 2 Remembrances dead. And he has...
Yeah, I mean, Strump put himself. I think a big problem for Strump here was the 30 face square. He killed higher rune level bosses early, like he killed Exikes and killed Godskin Noble, right? So in theory, that 30 faith really should have been his square. The problem was that Strump went ahead and leveled Dex to get Dragon Hunters online earlier, while Nexus relied on the Sword Seal. So as a result, he just felt like it was too much of a rune investment to get to 30 faith. So he chose to just level health instead.
Well, not only that, especially when you're not going to use the weapon that faith is scaling off of, right? That is scaling off of faith, meaning the golden halberd, which they picked up. You're going Dragon Hunter. If I'm not going to use that weapon, I'm probably not going to look at that stat dump square.
Yeah. Now they did also choose different starting classes. Strump going the wrong way in this cave, but they did choose different starting classes. I did not see what both of their starting faith levels was. It is possible though that Strump just did not have the faith to really make it worth it to go for that square. So he may have known from the start, I'm not going for 30 faith because of my starting class selection.
Did Strump go the wrong way?
He did go the wrong way, yes. I'll be honest, I really don't know exactly where he is.
You just...
Okay, he's made it to the boss door. Here's Miranda.
There it is. Okay, good. Miranda, she's looking awfully good today.
Strump will still need to get the Crimson Talisman after this. Miranda drops the Viridian Medallion +0, so you can either kill Miranda for the +0 variant, or Altus Margit for the +1. It doesn't matter which one you do, you just need to get one talisman with Viridian in the name.
Strump died to Margit earlier, that's why he's still doing the Viridian here. He never grabbed it.
Correct.
So yeah, they're both tied on that squared right now at this moment.
Also, Strump did his magic scroll wheel thing. I don't know how he does that, but apparently he's killed 81 Dung Eaters.
There was a game I was watching. I wasn't commentating, but it was a Strump game, and I swear every square on the first two rows had like a ridiculous number on them.
Yeah, somehow Strump hits something on his keyboard, and it just randomly puts like massive numbers there.
All right, so Strump is now in trouble. This is big, big trouble here. This
could work out for Strump because Strump's going to finish Physic Tears here. Nexus is looking at Crimson Cerulean Viridian. Nexus still needs to get both the Cerulean and the Crimson Talismans. Strump only needs the Crimson and is much closer to it, right? So Strump should have just enough time here to kill this Erdtree Avatar and then go run and get the Crimson Talisman.
Where did he get the Carillion Talisman from?
He killed Bloodhound Knight earlier in the game. The Bloodhound Knight.
That's right.
And that's where Nexus is going now.
Yep. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I remember him fighting him. Dang, was that before?
That was before Renala. It was right before Renala. It was right before Strump went to Renala, while Nexus was fighting Renala.
Yep, that's why I didn't see it.
Yeah, if Nexus gets talismans, it's effectively GG. Strump is not, unless there's a big Dung Eater incident, which is possible, especially with Nexus's amount of Vig. Dung Eater is a very tanky NPC and can cause problems. But if Strump gets this, it's going to be a very interesting way it ends, because Nexus is going to have a decision to make here about whether he goes for Radon. Like, he could go clean up Dung Eater now. He could go for Radon to set up both Ancestor Spirit and Gargs, or he could just go hard into Little Moose via Shifra. But if you lose Ancestor Spirit, then that would be big problems.
I don't like this routing for the Crimson Talisman.
Yeah, not the cleanest routing here from Strump.
Because I think I would have just gone Stormgate and then...
Oh, and Nexus does die in the cave. Honestly, really might be a bit of a blessing for him, because Strump here is about to mark Crimson Cerulean Viridian. That marker will appear on the board in just a second here. No. Oh,
No.
Strump is prepping it. He's grabbing a Grace right next to it and pivoting out. This is a very aggressive play by Strump. I mean, he can't, if he goes to actually try to... this. Okay. It's ballsy, but it could work.
He's gonna try and take what? Dung Eater?
I doubt he actually goes to try to take Dung Eater, but he might, like, goes and kills him now. But he very well could go and just get into capital to make it kind of an even Dung Eater race.
Yeah, you could go get Seedbed Curse now.
Yeah.
You still want to jump down all the way and at least get Avenue Balcony. Now he just needs
okay,
one
so
more.
Strump grabbed the Grace at Avenue Balcony and then pivoted back to get the Crimson Talisman.
And marks the square.
And marks the square, yeah.
And I think Nexus had just finished. No, he was. Yeah, that was.
Nexus had just finished Bloodhound Knight. Oh my God! Now this is an even Dung Eater race.
Yep.
Both players are in the. I just refreshed Strump's stream. This is real time. Both players in the exact same spot. Even Dung Eater race.
Did we have a Dung Eater race last with Cronus and?
Yeah, I mean this is huge. This is if Strump this. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to Ancestor Spirit and Gargs, right? The question is just who needs 2 and who needs 1. Physic Tears is effectively Strump's square. He's way ahead on that. The Dung Eater will just dictate who needs both. If Strump gets Dung Eater, he will only need 1 of Gargs and Ancestor Spirit, and same is true for Nexus. Actually, Nexus is a little bit ahead because Nexus does have Avenue Balcony, so he's able to grab the Seedbed Curse and just go straight back to Round Table. Then he'll go to Avenue Balcony. Strump has to run, go grab the Avenue Balcony Grace, and then go back to Round Table to talk to Dung Eater. So Nexus should be ahead by 15 to 20 seconds here, maybe. Except Nexus, Strump is actually just skipping Avenue Balcony and going straight for the Sewers Grace, which works as well.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, Sewers Grace probably is the correct play. I mean, maybe saves him a couple seconds as opposed to going Avenue Balcony. It's not major, but this square very well could come down to a couple seconds. And whoever gets this square is in a big, it takes a commanding lead.
Well, it's the last capital square. Everything else is elsewhere, and they're isolated squares, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Strump has Physic Tears, but Valiant Gargs and Ancestor Spirit. If you got to do both those squares, do Valiant Gargs first, then do Ancestor Spirit. What do you prep? How much do you prep? What's your game plan here for doing both those squares? If you're Strump and you need to get both those squares after getting Dung Eater.
Yeah, do you go Little Moose? Like, also, we get into the mind games, right? Neither player has killed Radon, but both players pretty much have capital access. Do you think that your opponent has killed Radon? Does Nexus think that Strump did Radon as one of his 5 horse bosses? Does he think that he instead did Renala as one of his Liurnia bosses? He already obviously knows that Strump did Rykard for one of his Shard Bearers. So the question is, what's the other one? Was it a horse boss in Radon, or was it a Liurnia boss in Renala? For Nexus, Strump really has no idea which 2 Nexus did. He didn't mark Liurnia bosses. He didn't mark horse bosses. Strump is going off of a lot less info, off of basically no info. But, Nexus here is going, Nexus is going to have to guess. Nexus does have a big lead going into this. Strump is upgrading his weapon.
I don't want to see the upgrades. I want to see you get down there.
I think he's actually going back to finish Physic Tears, get a Physic Tear as well. This might be Strump's final Physic Tear, so Nexus will have a big lead on the Dung Eater square. We'll go full screen with him. Dung Eater, not an easy fight, but Dragon Hunters is a great NPC killing weapon.
God, dude, my heart is beating so fast.
It has the poke, and you have the Ash of War. You can knock him back.
Are you serious?
if you're Strump and you're wondering what he's thinking, you know, in times like these, you might start thinking that, oh no, Nexus hasn't marked anything. I don't know his progress to 10 physics tiers. I definitely don't want to lose that.
Insane.
But regardless, I think he still should have gone
Nexus
and killed.
gets hit hard. Strump here does get physic tiers. The strength tier is his final one. Nexus is running into some real problems with the Dung Eater.
Dude,
Like,
you fucking stop.
Dung Eater, the D stands for demon.
Strump going third church potentially to set up Little Moose.
Well, here's the thing. In the amount of time it takes him to Nexus to kill Dung Eater, you can go ahead and prep Ancestor Spirit and then go back to Gargs. Now the thing about Gargs is you're gonna have to go kill Radon to get the Gargs.
Yeah. There's the Dung Eater from Nexus. I think
Well done.
Strump is going to
GGs.
have to pivot here again once he sees this. His stream
think
is
you get the-
behind. I think Strump needs to pivot to Radon, honestly. He keeps going for this. It's a crazy meta call. It's a crazy call.
Yeah, it's a crazy call.
Because Nexus is going for Shifa Ancestor Spirit. We'll see.
Let's
Strump is going to see the
go.
mark here in just a second. Stream is behind because of lag. We'll see what he decides to do.
My goat. Going for Ancestor. No, don't pivot. Don't.
He's
do
thinking
it,
hard
dude.
while he's on this elevator. What does Strump does pivot? Strump does pivot. Strump does pivot.
No! All right, the only thing we can hope for here, is Nexus gets down there, gets the Grace, and then he pivots too.
I don't think he will, though. I think if you're going Shifa, you go hard into this. The only way Nexus doesn't just go hard into this Ancestor Spirit is if he talks himself out of it.
Like Strump, I hope they've been playing the same this whole game. Come on, Nexus, talk yourself out of it, dude. Pivot to Radon. Let's see a Radon race. Come on.
No matter how this one ends, what a hell of a game one. What a hell of a game one.
It was a slow burn for sure.
I mean, yeah, a slow start, but you know that was expected via the board. An incredible game between these two boys here.
Yeah. This is one of those few matches where, like we were saying earlier, like it does feel like a jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah, like it's they've both been executing so well, and it's really just come down to like the battle of the minds, like, you know, guessing what your opponent's gonna do and making the right call. I think the DTS was the real pivotal moment in this one. Not only was that a big snipe for Nexus, but also it forced Strump into rushing those force bosses. Which did not go well for him. I mean, you could also say the same thing about like the Sacred Flask charges. I think it's going to be interesting to see what like the players are saying to themselves going into this next game, right? Because, you know, for Nexus, he played incredibly well and got the win. You should be proud of that, right? Or if he does get the win, should be proud of that. He's played incredibly well so far, but it was so close, right? And you know you're going to have to play at that level again. And then for Strump, right? You know, whatever happens, like, you know, hey, I got sniped on 2 really close squares. If one of those goes my way, being Sacred Flask charges or Dectus, then, or sorry, Sacred Flask charges or DTS, then this game would have been very different. Really going to be a very interesting how the players respond, especially because both these guys don't really lose bingo games.
No.
You know, and they're gonna have short time here to make sure it's turned around.
Yeah,
I
mean,
will let you know before game 2. I do want to check in with Nexus on his hand and just make sure he is fit to continue playing. But yeah, we should be good to go.
he won. Well, to be determined. But yeah, I think that's the right call. Check on the hand.
Yeah. I mean, in the case that it is not, we could always do game 2 and then a potential game 3 directly after tomorrow. But yeah, I do want to check. Like, he did dislocate his finger and he has been complaining about it. So
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want him to hurt himself. Player safety is way more important.
Strump is fighting Radon while Nexus is lighting braziers for the Ancestor Spirit. Strump needs to be quick about this, and Nexus needs not to pivot away from this, what he's doing. Big bleed on
gets a
Radon.
stagger. The Tragoth staggers Radon, kind of saves Strump's bacon there.
He did. Look at that bleed. And there we go. Radon is down for Strump. I think Nexus just lit his last brazier, or he has one more.
I think he has one more.
And now Strump has to make the decision. Do you go back to Siofra?
Yeah, you don't go to you don't go to Shifra, whatever you do.
Yeah, you just go ahead and push your Valiant Gargs.
I think you push for Moose, but you don't go through Shifra, you go through
Oh,
Mimic, I would
yeah.
believe. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Thing is it's less squares. I mean, sorry, not squares. Less braziers, but a longer fight.
Yeah, I mean, if Nexus goes straight into this, there's just no way. There's just no, unless there's a catastrophic incident.
I think he might be going immediately into the fight.
Yeah, he is. Nexus going straight for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will go full screen with Nexus because this will be for the game.
You know, there's a lot of deer sympathizers out there. I'm not one of them.
Are you kidding me? What shit RNG? What, it fucking knocked me over?
Imagine having that deer head mounted on your wall. All right, I'm kidding. For our animal
Yeah,
lovers.
let's let Nexus finish this one out. Strump's pivoting has worked so well for him throughout the season, but really came to bite him here at the end. I think this was a good call by Nexus, actually not double prepping when everyone would expect to double prep in this spot, right?
Yep. There. Oh, almost had it.
And Nexus gets it. That's a 13-11 win for Nexus in game number 1.
Give me that, baby! Let's fucking go.
Like
Oh
Hoosier
my
said,
fucking
Nexus
God,
will take
give
the
me
first
that.
game.
Yeah, GG's to Nexus there. What a crazy game. We'll be back in just a second. We'll be back in just a minute to get ready for game number 2. I just do want to call the post. We're not going to do an interview, obviously, and I just want to check in with the players really quickly to make sure that Nexus is okay and we are good to go for game number 2. And then we will be ready. So give us 1 second and give us a few minutes and we will be right back. Thank you guys so much for watching and we will see you all in just a second. Nexus versus Strump. Game number 2. If Nexus wins, he will advance to the semifinals. If Strump wins, he will force a game 3. Here we go. Shaka, center square.
I would like to see Apostle Kaled.
I will go with Grail without status effects as the center square. And it is Remembrance Boss, Remembrance Weapon only. That is a very interesting center square. A lot of ways to play it depending on how the board looks here. Let's go ahead and look at the rush squares. So in the top row, we have the repaintings, a great rush square. I know a favorite of Nexus. In row number 2, nothing super fast, but we do have Status Effect Ashes of War, a square that many players, including Snowy, number 1 overall seed in the Crucible, says wins games because of the amount of progression that you get while completing the square. We have 2 troll bosses in row number 3, as well as Raya's Hand, another one of those very strong progression type squares. It's one of the few squares that you can get while collecting Altus access. Row number 4, 2 fast squares, Blue Dancer Charm and Falling Star Beast. Another thing to take note of is the fact that we have Remembrance Boss Colossal Armaments only, as well as Remembrance Boss Remembrance Weapon on this board. If you remember back to Shura versus Rambler, game number 2, Rambler went for Colossal Armaments only on Godric, and that ended up biting him in the butt. We'll see what the players decide to do here. And then finally on that bottom row, we have we have Magma Worm, which is a quick one, and combo as well with the 3 Dragonheart bosses also on that row, as well as Rykard late. Definitely a much an earlier board here. We still have some late game squares. We still have a capital square with Ritual Sword, Ritual Shield. We still have a Rykard from the last game, but overall a very different board than the one that we saw before. Very interested to see how the players work through this one here.
I'm seeing these rush squares, right? You have collect 3 paintings, acquire Blue Dancer Charm, Falling Star Beast if they want to rush that. I like how this plays out. One of the ones that they could wrap in together is Spirit Summon +4 with the Catacombs, a big proponent of that. But Magma Worm into Falling Star Beast, if Kaled bosses, kill 4 Kaled bosses with it on the board would be nice. It's not, so that's unfortunate. But I think maybe doing a Magma Worm, getting out, doing a Colossal check out there in Kaled. If you're not starting with a Colossal, that's that there is a chance you could find a decent Colossal there in that not Chariot, but Caravan that's down there by the Dino Dogs. That's other than collect 3 paintings, acquire Blue Dancer. I think that's what you start with, and then you make your way to Magma.
Yeah, I mean, you have other options like Falling Star Beast into Magma Worm is a good option. Troll Bosses is always a good option. Like, you could argue just going with like a straight progression route. So maybe you go paintings into Status Effect Ashes of War and Raya's Hand, right? Status Effect Ashes of War and Raya's Hand combos really well, promoting Dectus as a way to get into Altus because you get a Status Effect Ash of War from Fort Height as well, where you get one of the halves of Dectus. Another one by EG. It just is a very strong progression square. We will see what the players decide to go for.
Well, Magma Worm boss is definitely going to be marked because of the 3 dragons. So I definitely see that happening.
Yeah, we do also have Broadsword in the starting class. One of the best weapons in Bingo starting off. It is the best square off weapon. Incredibly highest base damage of any weapon with square off. And square off is so powerful early on in Bingo. If you don't know, the L2 R2 on that Ash of War does 40 poise damage, meaning that most bosses, particularly early game ones, will stagger in 2 Ashes of War, meaning that it is incredibly valuable. Strump is a bit behind here on stream delay, about 15 seconds, 10 seconds comparative to Nexus. So just keep that in mind as we go into the early rush. Also, chat, make sure to get your Gambas in. We only have 8 people gambling. Yeah. Get in. I'll close the Gamba once we hit 2 minutes here.
4 Ashes of War wins games is what Snowy says. I don't disagree. Getting Altus, like you said, promotes Altus. If you do paintings, you might as well grab that Artist Shack Grace, or you go a little bit ahead north and you grab the Grace there by the Angel River well that leads you up to the other catacomb where you could get your 2, 3, 4 at.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad way to do it.
Well, also that that Artifact Grace will help you set up for ritual pots later, giving you a grace close to Jarberg. I expect Nexus here to just hard rush paintings. For Strump, I mean, there's a chance he tries to contest, or he might just, you know, respect Nexus's speed like he did last game and go for a different line. We will see what the players decide to do. Gamba does close with Strump as a favorite in this 165% of the money on Strump, which I think is unsurprising. Like expecting this set to go 3 games. If I had to bet on, I think coming into it, it was probably, I just view all these games as 50-50. So like they're so close.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you would, I think there's probably like a 50-50 chance it goes to game 3, right? Because if you view game 1 as a 50-50, whoever wins game 1 has a 50-50 chance of winning game 2.
Did you ever take statistics? Because that's not how it works at all.
Well, no, it is how it works, because if you do the coin flip like that, I would have said there's a 25% chance Nexus wins 2-0, there's a 25% chance Strump wins 2-0, and a 50% chance that we go to game 3. So I'm not sure what type of education that you get down south, but it's clearly a lot worse than what we get up north. You know what I'm saying?
I was hoping you'd clarify.
There you go.
Well done, well played. You know, my statistics are 60% of the time. It works all the time.
Mm-hmm. Nexus's hand is swollen, but he said he's good to go. I did check with him. He's ready to play. So battling through it, but he's ready to go. We did offer him. We said, you know, you can play game 2 tomorrow. He said, nope, I want to play it now. So
I did offer him Millicent's prosthesis, but he turned it down.
A second hand there. Also, interesting now that Nexus is actually not rushing paintings, going to Celia first. You know, this could be very similar to the call out that we saw between Rambler and Strump here. You know, maybe Strump expecting Nexus to go for paintings, Nexus knowing that Strump is expecting him to go for paintings, and as a result trying to snipe Strump on the Falling Star Beast here.
It's true, but I also think that you have Broadsword.
Yeah, and I did just, hopefully Strump stream doesn't buffer too much. I did just refresh it, and he is just behind Nexus now. I mean, so yeah, both of them going straight for the Falling Star Beast. Neither of them have the Rock Grease. This is just going to be a straight execution battle on this fight. We will see who will take it. I think this is a very important square for Strump as he starts game number 2, right? Losing game 1 and then getting sniped right off the bat in game 2 is not a great way you want to start it. So I think this is a very pivotal square, especially if you're looking for Strump to force a game 3 here. Beautiful start to the fight by Nexus. Gets that scripted stagger. Strump gets the stagger as well. Strump stream, stop buffering. Please, for the love of God.
You know, the interesting choice is not doing the rot. It does take some time to go grab it, like 5 seconds.
If you have Broadsword, it is overall slower. We timed it when we were running the Falling Star Beast % speed run. It is faster with Broadsword to just go in and fight immediately, and rather than going and grabbing the Rock Grease. Yep.
It makes a lot of sense.
Strump is behind by a few seconds here comparative to Nexus, but Nexus is having the much cleaner fight. Unless something catastrophic happens, I think this square will go to Nexus here.
Yeah, it's nice and refreshing to see a FSB rush. I gotta tell you, I haven't seen it since the last season of Bingo. Like, none of
and
the
there
other
it
games,
is. Square goes to Nexus. I do think Strump will finish out this fight.
6 minute 19. I mean,
yeah,
Strump still gonna shave off some time.
On the screen, he still has not seen the mark. You will see it in just a second here.
You know, it's kind of it may be worth just
Yeah.
finishing out the fight if you feel confident and you're not like blowing last. Reason being, you get your +6. Like, go ahead and finish it, I guess, and you can teleport out of here.
He's just better than me at the game.
Yeah, we see a bit of an admission there. Strump just saying, yeah, he's just better than me. Which I think is fair when it comes to like early game bingo execution. Nexus very well maybe just straight up the best in the world. That was incredible. So it looks like Strump will go ahead and finish out the fight here. I'm gonna just let his stream do its thing.
Yeah. All good. Nexus in the swamp of Aeonia. Millicent? Is he gonna trigger Millicent? No.
No reason to do that. I mean, he might just go straight to Magma Worm, right? With Dragonheart
Okay,
bosses.
yeah, no, that's where he's running. I was looking, yeah, I was trying to like figure out where he was, and it looked like he was in Millicent range, but he wasn't. He's fine. But this is exactly the play I would do. Is FSB into Magma Worm. I like doing those two squares one after the other. You get your +6, and then you can get a +4 here.
Oh, Strump is in trouble here. Strump is in trouble here. He's, oh my God, stream buffering all around, but he has no heals. Does get the square off there. Okay, he will get this kill. Strump's still going for this because you do get the Somber 5 and Somber 6 out of it, as well as the 5 right afterwards, plus those valuable early game runes. Gets, you know, 7.6k out of it.
The only problem with finishing the fight is you could have maybe immediately quit out and try to race him to Magma Worm, right?
Well, it's so hard though because Strump has to make a call here. Is Nexus going Magma Worm or is he going Paintings? Like, you are in Celia, right? So you have that Paintings grace. Strump is deciding to go for Paintings.
As Nexus grabbing this grace out here.
Yeah, Nexus is going to grab
why.
the grace at Fort Gale just so he can do Gale skip later. The skip that Nartok came up with, where you kind of run down the rock there to get to Third Church, and then he will come up to the Magma Worm.
Yeah. Okay. He's just set up Gale skip to get down to Third Church after he finishes off Magma Worm. Makes sense.
Great sword check there from Strump. I did not see exactly, he did not pick it up, so I didn't see exactly what it was, but I did see that it was a legendary weapon. None of the legendaries are viable for bingo. That means it either would have been Darkmoon Greatsword, Golden Order Greatsword, or Mariah's Executioner Sword, none of which bingo viable.
Isn't the Gale skip in this situation a little asinine since, like, you could just go out the front door where Alexander is after you finish Magma Worm?
Yeah. Oh, and also to Ginger's point, I actually don't think he was looking at Gale skip. You can also take that teleporter in Fort Gale to get to Redmane Castle. Plus, if you're going for Crucible Knight Duo earlier, or Crucible Knight Misbegotten Warrior Duo early, it plops you on the other side of the bridge, so you don't even have to worry about the catapults.
Not me experiencing PTSD at the mention of catapults. Don't worry. That bridge was not friendly to me in my first playthroughs.
Nexus will kill Alexander here to get the Warrior Jar Shard.
Of course. I think there should have been a Jarberg boss of a huge jar with many jars around him.
All right, well, speaking of boss, we'll see how Nexus does here against the Magma Worm.
This should be a better, but here we are. I don't want to say anything that's going to be a commentator's curse. I just love Magma Worms. They're some of my favorite fights.
Come on, can we beat 7, please? I've been waiting for a new PB.
He will tap R1 here just to try and proc the rot, which he does get off. So good.
That shit did not fucking hit me, but okay. I would formally like to disagree with that hitbox.
I feel like we see Nexus calm and relaxed here, like kind of talking shit to the bosses and stuff like he normally does. We didn't see that very much in game number 1.
So while Nexus is killing the Magma Worm, we have Strump moving down balloon route and going towards Albert check.
I could have square offed his head before doing that.
And Nexus does get the Magmorn. There's going to be a big katana check here. Let's see what it is. Starline sword. So nothing great. We're going to see halberd check here from Strump.
So, with that being marked, do you? I mean, he can go ahead and hit the elevator, or sorry, the teleporter over at Fort Gale, right? I don't think he does that. You're going to want to do a little bit of setup at least. I mean, I know broadsword and straight square off is good, but I wouldn't even dare to contest the Crucible Misbegotten duo with current setup.
Strump actually sees the Magmorn mark. Keep in mind he's a little bit behind. It's about 20, a little just for 20 seconds compared to Nexus, and quits out.
I mean, would you push Misbegotten duo right now?
I think Strump is worried about explosive physic.
It's the next obvious mark on that line if he's going to push the bingo.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think Strump is worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky spot for Strump early. Obviously, it's way too early to say. Like, it's very much playable, but a very tricky position for Strump to be in early on in this game. Especially, you got to wonder about like his psyche, right? You lose game one, then you find yourself getting sniped on the first square, going down 2-0 in game two at the very start. Season is on the line. Strump coming into this match, like Shuro was 7-0. He lost to Helios week one and has not lost since. And unfamiliar territory for Strump. Actually looks like he's just going to go for the blue dancer charm here. Get a square on the diagonal.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. You get a square on the diagonal. And it also blocks any row 4 bingo threats. Problem is explosive physic is what I'm eyeballing next. Nexus will set up Dexus.
Mm-hmm.
Which Dexus is fine. You're going to set up for acquire smithing bell bearings 1 and 2.
I mean, I think Nexus is great on this board. Did Nexus grab the Bloody Slash though, or is he just gonna? I think he might have the guy chase him up here.
It's always easier to have him chase up.
Oh, but it's nighttime, so he didn't chase. Nexus has to quit out there.
He also missed his jump off.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that like early Altus is so valuable, not necessarily because of Altus, but because of the progression that you can get along the way with both status effect Ashes of War and Raya's Hand. We see Nexus taking out the Knight here, Strump going for Blue Dancer.
Oh, so fun fact, Noble Slender Sword does not do...
Why Twitch? Why when I go big screen to him with him do you go slow? Okay. God, I love you, internet. Strump does get it down though. Sorry about that, guys. It also was Darkmoon Greatsword and the Greatsword check. I mean, maybe if you would have had a board with 30 Faith, you could somehow justify it here. Absolutely not.
Definitely 30 Faith, yeah.
Or 30, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Nexus is saying he's going to prioritize setup right now, so that's what he's going to be, as he should. And I think you're right about Strump, where he's headed now is to go get the explosive physic.
Yeah,
which is actually a good play because look at the diagonal, right?
Yeah,
now,
the diagonal is interesting. Especially if you use Explosive Physic on the Duelist and Murkwater Catacombs, right? That could set you up very nicely for that.
Oh my god, the 2 duelists, the catacomb synergy with, well, there's only 1 duelist that synergizes with it, but still.
Yeah. Okay, Strump stream, what are we doing here, buddy?
Yeah, if
All right, well, we're not going to see a roundtable check here out of Strump. I'm so sorry about this, guys. We'll see what it is. We see Euphoria, Grafted Blade, Greatsword. Strump does like his Colossals, but Strump just deciding to not go with any of them here.
Dragonheart bosses would be big for Nexus.
I think Nexus is in a controlling spot here. Like, he knows that whatever Strump's initial play was, he probably somehow forced him out of it, whether it was a snipe or something else.
Yeah, because you see acquire Blue Dancer.
Yeah, you see Blue Dancer at, like, what was that? 15 minutes and like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Did Nexus just go down?
Yours too.
Okay, you're down?
Fine. No, you're fine. Well, it's like it's buffering on my end. Let me see. You're fine.
Can I play on?
What the hell is happening?
I think Twitch is struggling. Not to be worried. Okay, I keep refreshing yours, and yours plays. It's fine.
Man?
All right, I think Nexus had a little game crash there. What is going on?
Yeah.
Right.
Nexus is fine. He's up, and we're up too.
Okay. Everything looks fine on my end in terms of my stream. Apparently my stream was struggling. Might be a Twitch issue.
It's just bandwidth probably. Oh, wait, yeah, sorry. Twitch bandwidth. Not
Yeah,
yours.
because like on my end, I didn't see that my OBS isn't telling me that I dropped frames or anything.
Yeah, I meant Twitch side. Server side.
Next, it's going to go ahead and do halberd check here. Find the Loda's War Sickle. So we really have not seen any good somber weapons on this seed.
Negative, and we do have smithing bell bearings 1 and 2. So if you are going to go smithing weapon, it's not the worst choice.
No, not at all. The only thing is both players do have that Falling Star Beast down, so they would have access to a Somber 6 and probably want to get that online as soon as possible. But you obviously need a Somber weapon in order to do so. Yeah, I think unless Strump's stream pauses for like 15 seconds, I'm just gonna let it cook. It seems to get worse every time I try to refresh it, so I'm sorry. All right, we are gonna see Strump here go for paintings. That is his second, so he still needs the one in Liurnia as a third. Nexus now checking roundtable. Do we have incants on the board?
No, there are no incants on the board.
All right, interesting to see why Nexus was checking incants then. Strump doing Celia skip. Gets it done nicely. It jump cuts. Oh my god. Nexus sees that there's pretty much nothing in roundtable there. You know, actually though, running Grafted Blade, right? It is a bit to get online, so it's 40 strength. That, you know, you need to get into 1.5 times territory, so that's what, 27 strength. When you combine that with the fact that there is Remembrance Colossal Armaments only, also 27 sounds very high, but that's Sword Seal plus Strength tier plus 12 strength. Very doable. And that weapon is very strong.
My mistake. I said there's no 12 incants. There are. I was thinking sorceries.
Yeah. Okay, and apparently Strump is fighting Margit. Holy hell. Nexus checks axe check. It is sacrificial axe, so not good.
Usable, but not good.
Yeah, so it looks like Strump here is going to kill Margit and go for the painting in Stormvale here as his last painting.
Which is fine because it can also get the Godskin prayer book in here.
Yeah.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run through thy vein.
Oh my god. Stream. Why?
I know. It does
Why
feel
now?
like every time you go into
Yeah,
full screen.
it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Nexus. All right. Looks like Nexus here is making his way towards the explosive physic. All right. Strump did get through Margit. Nexus here fighting the Erdtree Avatar.
Nah, that's not better. Was really hoping it was better. This is cool. This is a fun position to be in.
Nexus is in a lot
How
of trouble
the
with this
fuck am I
Erdtree Avatar. Sorry guys, I'm gonna try to pick up. Okay, Strump does get the 3 paintings. I'm gonna try opening up a different window and seeing if that, for some reason, fixes Strump's stuff.
Oh my god. I thought because I was crouched I wasn't gonna be able to jump. That scared me.
All good. So yeah, we have it's a 2v2 game here. Nexus is working on the explosive physic avatar. Meanwhile, we have
don't trust
Strump
this fucker
headed
right here.
towards Godric.
Can you stop? Fucking die. Do the jump attack.
What internet? Well, I was gonna ask what internet browser because Firefox has been giving me issues lately. I'm about to
Yep,
swap
it's
off of it.
Firefox.
Dude, Firefox and Twitch have not been cooperating lately for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to work
Really?
on a fix right now.
Really?
Roger
Really?
that.
That would have killed him. Are you fucking serious, man? Actual shitter.
Nexus is working on. Will go ahead and get the avatar down.
Yep, nice job by Nexus there. Just shock if you can take over main comm while I get a browser switch.
I got you. Of course, of course. Yeah, with that being said, we have Strump is going to be picking up the strength tier. Now, if I remember correctly, he picked up the crafted blade. Is that right? And if he picked up the
I know
crafted
he
blade, the
saw
strength-
it.
Well, he picked up the strength tier, so he might be possibly looking at Colossal on a remembrance boss. So that strength tier will help him get to the 1.5 requirement and be able to wield that weapon. Meanwhile, we have Nexus heading down into the Bofa cave with the explosive physic.
All right. Okay, I did just pull Strump up on a different browser. I'm going to have to reposition this. Give me 1 second, and then hopefully that solves the issue.
Nexus entering the cave with the explosive physic. You know, the one thing about the Beastman of Farum Azula is he's so squishy. Like, easily you could accidentally kill him. In fact, we saw that in a game. But Nexus gets it and pulls it off. There we go. Vex, you can get exaltation talismans. One is in Altus near Seethwater Cave. Yeah, it's in Seethwater Cave, fighting the Kindred of Rot duo. And then the second one is, I think there is only two. The second one is Lord's Blood exaltation, which is found in the sewers of Landell, the catacombs, the Landell catacombs down there in the sewers near where you see the Somber Seven, the lobsters. You have to fight, mind blanking on the guy with two dogs. I know we saw that fight last night with Cronus. Crony against, not Jers.
Cronus against Deutz.
Deutz, thank you. Cronus against Deutz used that. That was the first time we'd actually seen it in our bingo league. Like using that catacomb to get the exaltation talisman. So that was exciting to see. But meanwhile, back on this game here.
Sorry, okay. I don't know why. Not Opera. I don't know why there was an issue with Firefox there, but we have Strump stuff fixed. I'm so sorry. I really did not expect that to be on my end, but I guess it was.
This is a very scary place right now for Strump, all right? You're down 3-2, but all three of those squares are on one line. And how quickly can you get set up? Because, I mean, the Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Warrior duo, for both of these players who have done that fight a lot of times, it may not seem so daunting, but I tell you what, both of those enemies hit very hard, and they're easily both one-shot right now by both the duo, or the Crucible Knight and the Misbegotten. So if I'm Strump, I know I have a little bit of time. I don't have a lot of time, but I have a little bit of time to get set up to either go pursue exaltation or Misbegotten. I think right now in this specific situation, you try to beat him to exaltation by getting both Dectus lifts, which I believe is what Strump is doing. And who knows, both of them might be doing it because both of them are setting up Dectus lift right now. With that being said, we might see an exaltation race, and this is a very interesting game by Nexus. I don't want to say Nexus is a majority player, but what a way!
He will win by any means necessary. Also, I think we should be good now. I got the overlays and everything set. So yeah, hopefully we are good.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Do you think Nexus pursues this bingo line, finish the game early?
I mean, it's you also have a catch-22 with this bingo line, right? Because of Radon. So if you go for exaltation first, you have to kill Radon to get to Crucible Knight or Misbegotten Warrior Duo, because you do need Altus access for exaltation. But if you go for Crucible Knight Misbegotten Warrior Duo access, then you're behind on Altus for exaltation. I mean, I think it's hard because you need to be very worried about, like, Raya's Hand and Status Effect Ashes of War are very, very strong squares here, as you can get them while progressing towards Dectus. I actually think that you do just go for Dectus here.
I think you go Dectus, get exaltation, but take Raya's Hand and get some. Yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe as weird as it sounds, if you're Strump, you go for Dectus. I think if you're Strump, you might go for Dectus. If you lose like Raya's Hand and things, maybe at that point you need to pivot for Crucible Knight Misbegotten Warrior Duo. But also the other hard part about this is like your weapon, right? Players
That's what I'm thinking about right now.
It looks like both might be going for Grafted Blade here.
I think they're
with
both going
strength tier.
both picked up the yeah, I was gonna say both did pick up the strength tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Dectus left. I mean, with the grafted blade, the Kindred of Rot, you're gonna stagger them, right? Like that's fine. I was worried about using broadsword for that cave.
Yeah, I think there is also the argument that like you don't set up your weapon now because Raya's Hand and Status Effect Ashes of War are so important. Like you just rush that.
Well, that's where Strump is headed right now.
Yeah.
He's headed to go get the Hoarfrost Stomp.
Mm-hmm.
You get the last blood one,
Yeah.
bleed status effect in Altus.
Because Strump, the other thing is Strump could just be positioning himself to race bingo lines. Strump might just try to say, hey, my column 2 is faster than your column 4. Status Effect Ashes of War, Strump is close to getting that, right? Then Tree Scent Duo's one fight, Troll Bosses is quick, and he's set up well for Tree Spirits. Or, yeah, Tree Spirits. And, you know, the thing is for Nexus, right? If Nexus goes to Altus first, if this line is faster, to me depends a lot upon if Nexus goes to Altus first. If Nexus does Crucial Light Misbegotten Warrior Duo first and Altus second, then he doesn't have to go through Radon. But if he goes for Exaltation first and then Crucial Light Misbegotten Warrior Duo, he has to go through Radon.
Yep.
Also, I think if you see, I don't know, it's very tough how you play this.
I get Texas, and I'm just gonna go for Exaltation Talisman. That's assuming I'm not being like he hasn't beaten me to Altus, because too many times do I see Exaltation marked as one of the first Altus squares. People realize how easy it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not easy, but
It's
the Cringe of the Rod stagger easy.
Yeah.
You get that, as long as you get that first stagger and riposte, you're more likely going to walk away with the Exaltation Talisman.
The question also is to me, if you're going for Status Effect Ashes of War, where do you get your fourth, right? Like we've seen Hoarfrost Stomp, Bloody Slash, and then Bloodblade right when you get into Altus are pretty obvious. Like I guess you go for the one in the Swamp of Aeonia. Nexus is actually better set up for that because of the grace that he got after going between Falling Star Beast and Magma Worm.
What for the last status effect? Yeah.
Yeah, but Strump is actually just going straight to Junction, not even grabbing the grace right after Dectus. That surprises me a bit because that would be your best grace for Exaltation Talisman. It would be your best grace for Status Effect Ashes of War. It would be your best grace for Raya's Hand.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Incantations. He's grabbing this grace so he can move Corn and get 12 incant. I mean, not right now.
Yeah, I just don't.
36,000 is enough. I just don't know why that would be the square you go
especially
for.
when you need to get your weapon. Like he needs to upgrade his weapon. I'm a bit surprised to see him upgrading, going for this grace, and not the one that Nexus is getting right now.
Colossal. Is he going to check Colossal? No, he's going for the blood. The other. I always forget
he's
the name
going
of
for
the
Bloody
scarab.
Slash or Bloodblade.
Bloodblade. Thank you.
I mean, he did lose quite a bit of time though by setting up Junction, and Nexus is going to be very close to getting Bloodblade, and he does have a better grace for the poison mist in Kaled. Also, I mean, it's minor, but Nexus will kill this Scarab really quickly.
Both of them are doing it. Yeah, he's going Aeonia swap right now too.
Well, Nexus might say screw it, and just go straight for Exaltation. Just bum rush this line, which at this point, Strump has also been into Altus, so they would both have to go for Radon, through Radon for duo.
I mean, well, listen. Sorry, I just got excited. I was gonna say, dude, I mean, if Nexus did decide to do Exaltation, Strump is nowhere near set up to take on the Crucible Knight Misbegotten duo. He has broadsword plus 0. He doesn't. He has the strength tier for a grafted blade, but that's not even like. Granted,
I mean,
Nexus isn't.
he has 36,000 runes though in EG. Like he should be fine.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would-
Understood. All right. Yeah, we see they're both very close on the status effect Ashes of War, but it looks like Strump will most likely get it. I mean, the only thing is Nexus is gonna one-shot this Scarab. Strump isn't. And oh my.
Oh no.
That was a clean mark by Nexus.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
what? How did
killed it
Strump not?
first,
How did I swear he got it first? What? Wait, what?
He got it first, but he marked it second.
How did Strump not get that square?
I don't know, dude.
Oh my god. That's disaster. That's disastrous for Strump. How did he not get that? Yeah, I mean, marking is a part of it. I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, it was, if anything, it was slightly late by Nexus. Like the mark.
Yeah, it was. No, Nexus was ready to mark it. Strump kept riding off into
Yeah.
the sunset for about 4 seconds.
Yeah, and by the way, I know obviously it marks earlier on the board before it appears, right? Like you see it on the board before they do it because of stream delay. But like I watch the players' streams and I see that like if it's a clean mark or not, right? I could see that was an on-time mark for Nexus. That's devastating though. Absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I mean, you are now in crisis mode.
Yeah.
You gotta go kill. Just
That is terrible for Strump.
like I mean, I've never been more like surprised at which color.
Yeah.
I was for sure thinking like, oh, that's blue. I know Nexus is right behind him. There's no way. And then whenever it turned red, it was. I've never been more surprised.
Yeah, just shocking.
We'll have Nexus move on into Radon. He's gonna kill Radon
Yeah.
so that he can actually get Crucible Knight. Now, if you're Strump, you gotta do you're in crisis mode. I'm looking at row 2 and also column 4, right? Exaltation mark.
You
is my-
gotta block column 4 at this point. Like you don't have time to push another line. Maybe you could have tried to push column 2 and been faster. No
but
chance now.
No. The kukri is that, I mean, it was just fantastic play by Nexus in terms of that 4 status effects running up, because what's crazy is we're gonna have to tell them both of them were staring at the same scarab. It's unfortunate that Strump ran up to swing at it and it teleported, so Strump has to run as it's teleported. Meanwhile, Nexus just throws 2 kukris at it.
Yeah, and Nexus is already in on Radon here.
Yep.
I should have took my flask beforehand. I threw. Okay, I go Treese and Duo right after this. Hope he doesn't.
Strump's going for Radon as well. I mean, both with essentially the exact same setup.
I didn't buff either.
You have to. I mean, I don't think Strump has been in. Well, yeah, he has been on Talsis if he's coming to fight Radon.
Yeah, I'll buff if I got a stagger and a repose. No. Oh, you fucker.
Nexus mixes out on the repose there.
Really?
That's always tough to get to. I don't know the
Yeah.
exact time, but I would want to know how many seconds do you actually have to get to that head? I feel like it's like 3.5 seconds to get over there. So
Strump is
short.
now in the Radon fight as well, so we'll go back to the dual screen. That satisfact Ashes of War is just shocking.
Are you still? I know. I'm
Yeah.
still dismayed, dude. I was really excited
Yeah.
for the like.
I mean, it completely changes the game, right? Like, I mean, it changes it from a 4-2 game to a 3-3 game, and Nexus is now ahead on Radon. He said earlier that he was going to go for Tree Scent Duo after this, so it's possible we don't see, like, maybe Nexus is worried about the row 1 for Strump, so we might not see a bingo, but regardless, like, we saw how close the last game one is, and then there's a snipe, Remembrance Boss, Colossal Armaments only, Nexus gets that square.
Alright, dude. Cool.
This is just going from bad to worse for Strump.
So many fucking
Yeah,
snipes.
it's snowballing right now.
I mean, this is the
Snowball
third
snipes.
time this game he's been sniped.
Yep. First it was Falling Star Beast. Now
Yeah.
Status Effect. Now Remembrance Colossal only.
Yeah.
And again, this is a player who's been undefeated since
Yeah.
qualifiers. Since cauliflowers.
I mean, this is just a shot. Well, no, that's not true. He lost to Helios week 1, but I mean, that was 13-12. This is just a shocking and unfortunate series of events for Strump at the worst possible time.
Like, what the fuck?
And Strump goes down.
I never die like that.
The psyche, the mental game.
Yeah, I
right
mean, you just hear
now.
Strump saying, "I never die like that."
I mean, you could see it in both mine and Who's
Yeah.
face. As players ourselves, we know.
Yeah.
I know intimately what Strump is feeling right now. I'd say.
Yeah.
Hoosier knows intimately what it's like to be Nexus right now.
Yeah, and like, I think this is one of the matches where it's like, I mean, obviously, like, everyone's had great seasons to get to this point, but like, you know, it's one thing, like, I mean, both of these guys, they've only lost one real game in the regular season, right? Like, to go out and get first rounded would just feel terrible, right? And
Well,
like, it's unfortunate
also-
that's what the matchup was, but it's gonna happen to one of them, right?
Yeah, I was mainly going to mention because there was a last minute shuffle in
Yeah.
who was playing who. Week
Yeah, because
one of
if
playoffs.
Nexus beat Ellie, right, which that game could not go forward due to the PC issue, Strump would have played Nartok. Now Nexus does go down there to Tree Scent Duo.
I think
I
I
wouldn't have died
still
if I
would
didn't
like
Hammer.
to see that game between Nartok and Strump. I still want to see that series go through, even if it's like
Falling Star Beast
out of
and
league,
Hammer.
like off season.
Yeah.
Because Nartok has said, I think they've only ever had one practice match.
Nexus also did not grab a Grace for Tree Scent Duo, so he has to run all the way back. I mean, at least this buys Strump a bit of time, but he's going to need more mistakes.
Yeah, I just
at
noticed that
least I know
Strump
hit
is
the
still here, but that is also the
On my
death
second
to
attempt.
Radon and
Still
Yeah.
GG's, but
all right, there you
Well,
go.
he also probably feels like he needs Crucial Knight Misbegotten Warrior Duo, right?
Yeah,
To get the block
I mean,
on
you
the,
have to
on the column 4.
you have to respect it.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like that is where Strump is going. Crucial Knight Misbegotten Warrior. No, actually, checking their
Yeah.
remembrance. I mean, center square is not a bad call either for Strump, blocking the diag, the top left to bottom right diagonal.
Yeah. I mean, he's still playing defense. It's 5-2, a couple big plays, one huge snipe. Strump could easily be back in it. Let's
Yeah.
see if he has the champion mindset to still pull it through. Because then, I mean, yeah,
Axe
it's
of
looking
Godfrey
real
is a
bad.
very good remembrance weapon. You already have 40 strength already for Grafted Blade, so what's 42, right? Just
Yeah.
I think it's literally just one more level because 1.5.
Does he have Godfrey? No, he killed Godric. Did he kill Godric?
No, he didn't. He's going for Godric right now.
That's true. And we have Nexus still on the duo.
Yeah, Nexus
said
goes and
duo.
grabs the Grace this time. Also going to sit to level as well.
Yeah. As far as remembrance weapons, the
Strump doesn't
blasphemous
work.
blade is probably the best one you could ever see.
Nothing's working for me. This
I mean,
game.
honestly, it just comes down to like once you can wield more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Like you're only using it for one fight. The biggest thing is that it's wieldable. In this case, like with Strump's stat line, like Axe of Godfrey was very easily wieldable for Strump. That's perfect.
Yeah, that, and then again, if you, as long as you have Godric still alive and it's not a long
Yeah.
fight, any +0 remembrance weapon will do.
Yeah.
Someone threw a crystal dart.
He did, didn't he?
I did see the crystal dart.
Oh, that would be a miss mark for Strump if he marks this square, and he would be locked out.
Did it hit? I mean, it was he totally threw one, but did it hit?
Did it hit?
Damn.
Yeah. Can we get Ginger? He hit?
62 damage, 100%. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ginger.
Thank you, Ginger. I trust. Yeah. Ginger, I just sent you DM. Oh my god, this is awful for Strump. Rules are rules, but man, this is catastrophic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear, remembrance boss, remembrance weapon only. You can't, consumables are not a remembrance weapon.
And it sucks because he must you don't mean to do that. He was trying to drink a flask and he accidentally pushed X on it. Hang on, sorry, you got this.
Yeah, next is gonna finish out True Scent Duo here.
There's the mark.
Oh, you're an asshole.
All right, and that is officially a miss mark. We're gonna have someone come in and tell them. So Strump will have to unmark that square, and he will be locked out.
Yep.
And then Nexus will also be made aware of the mismark. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking because of the amazing season that Strump has had. This is a kid that came out of nowhere. This is someone who came out of nowhere and surprised the hell out of all of us with his skill level, talent, his sometimes unorthodox way of playing, unorthodox strategies, square marks. A lot of excitement even for me. So I was very excited. Yeah, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean it rules are rules, but goddamn, that just feels awful, especially in this spot, right? And we haven't really seen many mismarks all season.
Sean, his reaction was something along the lines of, "Oh fuck, okay."
Yeah,
yeah.
Nexus here is you're gonna finish out Dragonheart bosses with Smaragd.
I'll let you know when Strumps is back good to go.
He's not gonna roar at
You
me?
should be able to refresh.
Now he roars.
Mine's doing the same thing on
Ow,
my
we
end too.
dodge. I hate Colossal.
Okay.
All right, looks good now.
All right, it's good now.
Strump's board. All right, he's reconnected. He's good.
Yep. Yeah, once you mismark, you are locked out. It is on the players to be able to mark the squares. And yeah. That is brutal. But regardless, we play on as is. Nexus gets Dragonheart bosses. And I mean, effectively at this point, Nexus only needs 12 squares, right? Because he knows that like, you know,
Yeah.
he can just sit on that last square. Remembrance, like, plus that is the center square.
The thing is, like, for Strump at this point in the game, you're
Yeah.
like, where do you go, right? Like,
I mean-
you're on the big stage. You gotta like finish the game out. What square do I go? Like, I'm pissed. I'm upset,
yeah.
but
I mean, I think you just simply go ahead and get squares, right? Like, hope the game comes to you. Also, like, yeah, like maybe you full send column 1, right? Just play very aggressive.
yeah,
Column 1's his last available bingo because he's locked out of the middle row. So yeah, I think probably you do just full send column 1, and kind of hope the game comes to you. Yeah, you put so much into the season.
Nexus.
Obviously, you don't want to give up. You want to go out on your shield, so to speak, right? And especially like,
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot say how impressive Strump has been all season, right? All season he's been a dynamo. So to see it potentially end this way is just brutal.
Agreed.
Like, guy came out of nowhere from the qualifiers. Like, in our initial qualifier seeding, he was we'll watch Nexus fight and then I'll talk more.
Of course.
Holding my controller is good.
It does look like Strump is going to be working on Catacombs while we're in this fight with
Pussy boy.
Nexus. So
You got nut.
there goes the Misbegotten. That Grafted Blade R1 is doing some great damage, I gotta say.
Strump is fighting the duelist here.
Really?
He will smoke this guy. We'll keep it full screen with Nexus.
It's like
Yeah.
one away from Stag, right?
This is +4, or is it +6?
It might be +5.
This weapon fucks so hard.
Oh yeah, it should be +6. Yeah. All right, there's Crucial Knight. We've got Warrior Duo down, but yeah. Anyways, what I was saying about Strump, right? Like, coming into the event, like, we knew Strump could play. He hadn't done a ton of practice games, so we didn't know how good he was. He was like a mid-tier in the qualifiers. We thought maybe there was a chance he'd make it, right? We didn't really know for sure. Obviously, everyone has a chance in the qualifiers of making it to Golden Order. Strump was dominant from the start. Like, it was the game against Moody, which I was doing commentary in a different game at the time. But I remember Rambler came and told me, like, yo, this guy Strump is legit. Then he proved it playing ASIM. Proved it again week 1 in a loss, but 13-12 against Helios. It was one of the best games of the entire season. And then he goes on to win 7 straight. Like, Strump is the dark horse, feel-good story of this entire season. And obviously it'd be unfortunate if this is the way that it ends, but he should hold his head very high. He proved he's one of the best bingo players in the entire world. We saw how close that game 1 was. And tough, man.
He deserves to be in the Golden Order. He can play with the best.
He deserves to be in he deserves to be anywhere.
Yeah.
In any bingo league in the world, I don't care who's in it, Strump can play. And he'll win.
Yeah.
And Nexus is now going for Exaltation Talisman, and if he does get it, that will be a bingo win for Nexus. And dominant, obviously, like, the mismark and stuff is unfortunate for Strump, but hats off to Nexus, right? Played this game 2 was flawless, out of his mind. Like, there was that one Tree Cent duo mistake, but overall, just an incredibly dominant display against one of the best players in the world in Strump. And, Nexus will move on and he will play Shura. And that's going to be one hell of a match. Yeah, because unless there's a catastrophic incident here, it will be a bingo win for Nexus, and he will advance to semifinals. So, man, I don't know how those semifinals are going to go. Nexus versus Shura, we saw it week 1, but that was, Shura is not the same guy anymore. And to be fair, neither is Nexus. I don't know. I don't think that week 1 matchup really tells you anything. That could go either way. And then, Nartok versus Helios. That one really is an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Nartok never has lost a bingo playoff game ever. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-0 now in playoffs in both Ricky Rumble and then Elden Squares, going up against Helios, who's one of the most decorated bingo players on the planet, if not the most. Actually, Catalyst is probably the most, but
what?
I think you can say he's second.
Really? 2 jump R2s with a Colossal doesn't stack it. 3. Are you fucking kidding me?
And that will do it.
There we are. GG's, gentlemen.
GG's. That is a bingo win for Nexus.
Dude. With a fucked up hand, dude.
What a way to finish.
Easy. Playing through the pain, baby.
Just
Playing through the pain.
an interesting day, of bingo. Game 1 into game 2.
Dude.
Game 1 was such a battle, and game 2 was just such a heartbreak.
Sucks,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll go ahead and bring Nexus in. Strump, I'm sure he's frustrated. We'll give him a minute. Oh, well, never mind. He's here. Welcome in, Strump. Strump and Nexus. GG's, gentlemen.
Oh,
GG's.
GG's, man. GG's, Strump. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Nexus, we'll start with you. Like, honestly, that was a beautiful, beautiful game from you. I mean, there was that one tree scent duo mistake, but overall,
that was dude. Colossal, bro. I blame it. I don't use Colossals.
But overall, like an incredibly well played game from you. I'm curious, going all the way back to the start. Like, I think everyone was probably expecting you to rush paintings.
Yeah.
Did you was that like you just felt like Falling Star Beast, or did you kind of make the call of like, I think Strump will expect me to go paintings, I'm gonna try to see if I can steal Falling Star Beast off of him? What was kind of the thought process there?
Okay, so the immediate thought was, I got a little chub when I saw paintings, and I was like, okay, I kind of want this. But then I saw Falling Star Beast, Magmorm, Dragonheart bosses, and I wanted to do Gale Skip really badly because I forgot that the Magmorm tunnel brings you down to Third Church. So I also saw Broadsword, and my Falling Star Beast with the Broadsword was fucking sick. I don't know, dude. That shit was fire. That was good.
You played it, and you played that fight perfectly. Like, Strump played it well, and like you were, like he played the fight well, and you were still miles ahead.
Dude.
Like that was incredibly impressive. Like,
it's because of you know that, right?
Why? Because of me?
It's because in the last round that I rushed Falling Star Beast, or I did Falling Star Beast, you made fun of me and said that it was bad. And you said that Broadsword or any square off can fully script Falling Star Beast. So I practiced the fuck out of it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
dude,
that was
staggers in 2, buddy.
That was
crazy.
You did it in 6:16. The next best time all season was 6:44 by Helios. Dude. So you were 28 seconds faster. Like, that was
it was perfect, dude. It was perfect. Fucking beautiful RNG. It was beautiful RNG. It was flawless, in my opinion, at least. It was so good.
Yeah,
did you do no torrent? No, I did torrent, dude. That's with torrent.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, bro. Dude, you'll have to rewatch that fight. It was sick.
And then, Strump, I obviously want to spend time talking to you in just a second, but I'm curious. Obviously, that bingo line was threatened. You did snipe Strump on Radon with the Remembrance Colossal.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious about your decision to do. Like, did you give it thought at all to push it rather than doing Tree Scent Duo?
Well, last time I played Strump, he sneak bingoed me, and he got 2 squares in 40 minutes, and this was a very similar thing. So I was like, oh shit, it's happening again. I can't let this happen. So I saw row 1, I saw column 2. I thought I had prio on column 3 with Dragonheart bosses and Rem because I did Rem Colossal, but I guess I sniped them on that early.
The
Yeah.
closest snipe was the Ash of War status
Yeah.
effect.
Really?
So bad.
No, like on the screen, it looked like Strump got it first, and then you just
Really?
marked it
Yeah.
on time. Did you lose the square or something, Strump? I'm kind of curious about that.
No way, dude.
I thought I'd one shot it because usually just one shot it, so I was getting ready to mark it, and then I blanked out
Yeah,
for a
it's
sec,
two.
and then then
I did.
yeah, I looked away to kill it with
Oh,
the crystal darts,
no.
and then looked back and it's marked.
Oh,
Yeah, that's brutal, man.
that's rough, man. That's
That was that because like if that mark, regardless, that mark right there dictated the game. Like, 'cause
dude.
once that
Status
got-
was
a lot of it,
crazy
yeah.
on this board.
Yeah.
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 One other question for you, Nexus, before I'd like to talk to Strump. So obviously,
Yeah.
You have now set yourself up for a date with Shura in the semifinals. You did.
I hope Shura's excited for a repeat, baby.
Yeah, you did
Let's go.
obviously have that game week 1, but I think both of you are much improved going into that game. Can you tell us about how you're feeling going into that big set with Shura?
It's gotta be a repeat, baby. Easy. Lock in Shura. I'm kidding.
All right.
No, dude, Shura's nasty. Like, Shura's so good. I'm a little scared. If he plays like how he did against Rambler, I think dude, he might take it. I'm not gonna, dude, he's nuts.
Yeah, well, best of luck to
Sure.
both of you.
Dude,
We'll get that scheduled and can't wait for that one. Now, Strump, man, obviously a disappointing way for it to end, but man, I just want to say, like, the absolutely biggest congratulations to you. You came into this season, like when we first started, like we had the initial power rankings or whatever for the qualifiers, and I think you were like somewhere in the teens or whatever. And every step of the way, you've proven that you're one of the best bingo players in the world. What an incredible rookie season from you. You're just amazing, man. The stuff that you were able to pull off consistently. This was the only game all season that you lost that, outside of this one, like you had that loss to Helios that was razor close, and same thing could be said about game 1.
That game was crazy.
You're just such an amazing player, Strump. It's sad to see it end this way for you, but I'm so excited to see all the stuff that you're gonna do in bingo and Elden Ring in the future, as well as just life and shit. You're a great dude, and you work so hard, and that needs to be acknowledged, because the amount of gap that you covered, right, with no experience to get this good at the game, cannot be understated. Congrats to you, man, and if you have anything you want to say,
congrats.
Now would be the time.
I have some words after Strump says something as well, by the way.
Okay.
But thank you, Hughes. Yeah, it was unfortunate to go out that way in the second game. It was quite brutal, and the first game was really close. But even though I'm out, there's still other stuff going on that I'm excited for. You got the 2v2 Rando DLC. I'm excited for that. Hopefully do well in that. Maybe we'll see. But I'll probably keep playing bingo, and if there's any future events, I'll most likely be playing in them.
Hell yeah, man. I have some things I need to say to Strump. Strump, and everybody else in chat, I don't think you guys understand just truly how impressive Strump is as a player. Like, not only is he a rookie, this is the first time he's ever been in a bingo event. Strump, did you start playing bingo like much before the event too? Like,
I started
pretty recent, right?
I started playing like mid-November.
Okay, so not super recent, but I want to point out that Strump, last time I talked to you, I think you said you had like 900 hours in the game.
Yeah, I've gone a bit past that now, but
I have more hours in bingo than you have playtime, and you're still competing.
Jeez.
That is insanity, dude. Just like, most people in the playoffs have played this shit for
Thousands of hours.
At thousands, dude. And you have it cannot be stated how impressive that is, dude. Like, dude. I know I won this one, but genuinely, any other day it could have went either way, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna leak.
Dude.
I'll leak it. Nexus DM me before the game saying like, "Yo, if I lose today, I'm gonna be emotional. Please let me say my piece before you say anything."
Okay, no, I said that because I'm bad with compliments, and when people say good things about me, I get emotional. That's why. But I needed to prepare myself to lose, dude. Dude, you had me so stressed to play this game, dude. I was so nervous. Like, you are actually the GOAT, and I cannot wait to see what you do going forward, man. Genuinely.
Thank you. I really
Strump, you
appreciate
have been
that.
my favorite to watch this whole season.
Yep.
Thank you, dude.
Sorry, Nexus.
Definitely up
You're
there.
welcome, yeah.
Definitely up there, dude.
Yeah.
The Helios moment with
Yeah.
the apostle into the bell bearings is like a top 3, bro. That shit's so funny.
Yeah. Well, congratulations
GG's, brother.
to both of you. Thank you all for watching the first round of the Elden Scrolls Golden Order playoffs. This will be the end of round number 1. We will be back this coming weekend for round number 2. It'll be Helios versus Nartok, Nexus versus Shura. 2 matches that can go either way. Incredible players. Can't wait to see those sets. And with that being said,
Please become Elden Lord.